Warning. The following podcast contains two morons talking about sophisticated subject matter, like news and hoo-has. Also a few whoopsie-daisies and at least one house or auntie. If you don't have a strong stomach, you know where the door is. Right. On with the shenanigans then. The podcast which you are about to hear is an account of the tragedy which befell two washed-up losers. In particular, Cort Psyops and his immature co-host, Matt. It was all the more tragic in that they were uncultured morons. But had they lived very, very full lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see each week. For them, an idiotic podcast show became a nightmare. The events of each week were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, CinePsyEP275 with Cort and Matt.
What is PSYOP?
PSYOPs for psychological operations is very simply the art of influencing how people feel and think, and ultimately how they behave and what they do. You don't have to defeat the enemy on the battlefield. It's better if you can convince the enemy to do what you want him to do without having to fight him. And that's really the intent behind PSYOP, to convince people to do what you want them to do.
So how does PSYOP fit into what's happening now?
The 2 points I'd like to make with you and the audience is that, first and foremost, PSYOP saves lives. The second thing I'd like to say, a lot of people have a misconception about PSYOP. They think it's something deviant and brainwashing.
You say you don't know exactly what's going on right now, but we do know that there are some PSYOPs going on, right?
Ma'am, I don't know.
CinePsyOPs.
And I believe with all of my heart that it is a contributing factor to our juvenile delinquency of today. Why I believe that is because I know how it feels. I know what it does to you.
CinePsyOPs.
They think it's something deviant and brainwashing.
And welcome to the 275th episode of CinePsyEP275. This week we are doing our full franchise fest of Sleepaway Camp to celebrate that we have made 275 consecutive weeks of our ridiculous bullshit show. I'm your host, Cort, the guy that likes to try and destroy his voice and also mimic an air raid siren every week to greet you. And joining me all the way across the great city of Omaha in his own private hell of a bunker is Matt.
We're all gonna die. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't an air raid. I thought Trump finally just fucking did it and decided to say fuck it.
Yeah, I can't believe it, dude. I actually got a little more out of me this week than I did last week. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to sustain that note, though, because that was almost a full lung capacity of doing the higher pitch.
I was like, impressive. Most impressive.
Well, last week you were really all about it, and then this week you're just over it.
No, I'm still all about it. That was fucking impressive, my man. I just get scared that you're just going to run out of air and pass out.
Dude, you're getting up in years, Cort. Stop. You're going to fucking pass out. You're getting lightheaded.
And then I'm going to hear thump, and I'm going to be like, Cort, you're so funny. Cort.
You start texting Bev, you may want to go check on your husband. Shit ain't right.
You need to go downstairs. He did it again.
What's really weird about that is there's a multiple options of what that it could be that I did again that you need to warn Bev about. Yeah.
Oops, he did it again.
Yeah. All right. Have you seen any, before we're doing this full franchise fest, had you seen any of the sleepaway camps before?
Yes, I'd seen one.
Okay, so you'd seen the first one, but you have not seen part 1 and 2 before covering those.
No. And I saw one because a buddy of mine when we were in high school, he had seen it and he was like, just wait, you have to watch this. You have to watch this. If nothing else, just for the end scene.
Okay.
And he was laughing more, not about the big, what you think the reveal is. He was laughing more about the face. He was like, you got to see the face.
Yeah, there is a bit of talk about that as well. All right. I don't know if people are aware of this or not, but Matt and I are both very socially conscious. We like to tout our Libby beliefs about equality and equal rights for all human beings, that everybody should get a chance to live the life the way that they want within reason and consent of other adults and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And, we're both big on that. And this film has a bit of a troubled story to it that we just need to fucking address. Yes, it turns out there is a bit of what you could call trans panic at the ending of Sleepaway Camp 1, where this is not a girl who was born in a boy's body. This is a young boy who was forced to live as a girl against his will, and there's additional abuse on top of that. So that's a different kind of story that we're watching here. Angela has been living as Angela, even though she is a boy named Peter.
Fuck, dude, you're not supposed to tell people. You just ruined it for everybody.
Spoiler alert for a film from 1981 that literally the entire sales plot was it turns out the girl was a boy the whole time.
You know what? You don't know. You don't know what other people have going on in their lives. It was a real dick move. Just a real dick move, Cort.
Okay.
Real dick.
Sure. Okay. Now I think you just want to point out that there's a dick involved here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. You caught me. I was making a dick joke.
And you are correct. There is a real dick involved in that scene as well.
There is a real dick, and the guy got drunk to have that real dick out there. So.
All right. I don't feel that Sleepaway Camp 1 necessarily is a trans panic film. What Angela chooses to be from the point forward when she's no longer being abused is her. Mm-hmm. And just because I'm using that pronoun because that's what she's been identified for so long and that kind of thing. So that I want to take it as that kind of tact.
Or him, or them, or they.
Right. But I'm just saying like that's what I'm used to. So, and
I got you.
That's how they were living at the time. So when we're trying to refer to the abused child that became known as Angela, we'll try to use the they pronoun as best as possible. But when we're talking about Angela, the character, when she's presented as a she, we'll go with the she.
Yeah, we'll go. I mean, that's what the people call her. She.
Right. What we're seeing here, Angela is the victim of child abuse for most of her life.
Yes.
After living with her aunt. The reveal is actually a reveal, and we'll get into this when we actually get to the reviews because I don't want to obviously spoil too much more, but the reveal, I got to talk about it for Sleepaway Camp 1 because this is the tact I'm taking, so I got to go there, and apparently, according to Matt, I've already spoiled the entirety of the movie, so let's just do it.
You'd be like, hey, I'm going to ruin everything for everyone because I hate a good time. That's you. That's what you sound like.
Bruce Willis was dead the whole time.
Oh my God, you are the biggest dick in the world.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about Sixth Sense.
Like it.
Anyway, now, whether or not Angela is a separate personality that lives within the same body that Peter lives in now in the film Sleepaway Camp or not, or if it may just so happen that it's still Peter, he's just so traumatized that he is just pretending and going along with what everybody thinks is how a girl should act. That we're going to have to break down and get into as well. But the story of Sleepaway Camp and the reveal at the end, to me, now this is just to me, this is just how I've always viewed the film, was that there was a boy who was forced to live as a girl against his will the entirety of his life. And once he got to camp, or she, as Angela, got to camp. See, this is where the pronoun trouble is going to be. I'm trying to be a real ally here. They, here. Both of them.
They. Let's use they and them. Yeah. Pronouns, pal. Okay.
Once they got to camp under the name Angela, there are moments where I feel like you can really see that they, as in the boy who was Peter, that is forced to live as Angela, really want to get help or are looking to tell somebody something that's happening and maybe they can get help here. Or maybe it's just a place to escape and go away and be away from all of the horrible life that they have stuck with their aunt, you know? And that's kind of how I've always viewed the film, and it wasn't until basically it was referred to by other folks as transphobic and then also as a trans panic film that I even looked at it under that guise, because I always thought that, at least ways in the first film, Angela doesn't want to be Angela. Angela wanted to be Peter and was forced to be Angela. So at what point does that person decide to be Angela or Peter? And that's how the first film goes. Now, obviously, in the second film and further, Angela, and again, I guess I'm spoiling these films or not, Angela is Angela full time. Like,
yes, Angela has had a sex change operation, spoiler alert, and she is full on, she's just she.
Also, I want to just phrase that the sex change operation doesn't necessarily be the part that makes her the she. It's that at whatever point she decided to be a she, when she got the choices to who she was.
Oh, okay. That's how you meant it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just meant that anatomically she became a female as well.
Well, yes.
Her body matched her inner person.
Right, but in the first film, I feel like it was a toss-up between whether or not it was Peter or Angela that was in that body. So whether it's a he or a she depends upon which one is the personality that actually wins. Well,
Yeah.
and as far as the second movie goes, Angela is Angela, so therefore they decided to live as Angela, and now she, Angela, is the main character in Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. So that's how the films go. Now, I can see where there are definite statements of things that are said in 2 and 3 that I absolutely 100% agree are absolutely transphobic. There's a bunch of jokes and innuendo that we'll get into when we cover those films that are absolutely transphobic. And yes, we're going to call them out whenever they happen, or if we...
Not just transphobic, they're homophobic.
Homophobic, racism,
Fuck.
all that kind of stuff. Yes, there's a bunch of shit in here.
Oh my
that's
God,
definitely...
3 is racist as shit.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll be dealing with that as we deal with that. But in the first movie, that's the tack that I'm taking. But I wanted to preface it, and I wanted to, according to Matt, spoil the film because I feel that it's necessary to say, this is how I've interpreted the film. This is how I've always viewed the film. And when I'm making a discussion point on the film from this point forward, that's how I kind of see it. Now, as a person who is cis, I'm going to apologize right off the bat if there are anybody in our audience that is a transgender that we will offend or hurt or harm in some way. We don't mean it to be that way whenever we're discussing it like this.
Agreed.
We see you for who you need to be seen as.
Exactly. And we want you to be able to feel not just accepted, but comfortable and at home, as you should, as any living being should.
Exactly. Well, I think we've covered all of our bases. Let's take a little break here. We'll play the Legion GoFundMe promo ad. We'll have a little bit of music that is straight out of Sleepaway Camp 1, and then we will get right into it.
This is Bo from LegionPodcasts.com. Hey, it's been a crazy time, and when the world gets nuts, we're happy to offer some old-fashioned podcast entertainment. But for some folks, getting a laugh out of a show isn't really helping these days. People who depend on tips in their bartending jobs or have been put on furlough with no pay till the worst of this coronavirus threat has passed. That's a tough spot. That's why we set up a GoFundMe for members of our community, a sort of grand-scale take a penny, leave a penny. For people like myself, for whom the recent disruptions haven't kicked us out of work, well, we can drop a few of those extra pennies in the GoFundMe jar. For those who are directly affected by recent events and find themselves looking for money to pay the electric bill or keep the water on, well, how about you give me a shout at B-O, at legionpodcasts.com. Let me know the situation and what you need, and we'll do our best to make life a little easier. And you can find links to the GoFundMe on the front page of legionpodcasts.com, on our Facebook group page, or on Twitter at Legion Podcasts, where it's the pinned tweet. For those of you who are able, thanks in advance for chipping in. And members of our community who need a hand, hey, here we are. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy, and we're all going to get through this together. Legion isn't just a name, it's who we are. Thanks for listening to all the shows here on Legion Podcasts, and we'll talk to you soon.
Finally right. Stay a little longer, never leave my side. If you walk out that door, you won't come back alive. You're mine until the morning light. Night, you're mine. Tonight, you're mine. Tonight, tonight. Tonight you're mine.
All right, everybody be cool. I know I snagged that right out of the fucking movie, but just be cool.
Yeah, or else tonight you won't be mine.
I don't think anybody wants to be yours right now.
Fuck you,
Matt.
my wife loves me.
Fine. That absolutely makes sense. You're just a little surly because you feel I've spoiled the movie that everybody already knows the
You
twist
did.
in.
You already did. You ruined everything for everyone.
I gave them a spoiler alert. It just sucked.
Yeah, your spoiler alert's a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
Well, maybe this will cheer you up. I'm going to play the trailer.
Dear Mom and Dad, I've been at a sleepaway camp for almost 3 weeks. And I'm getting very scared.
Welcome to Sleepaway Camp. Someone is watching you.
Hey, Mama, reload.
Someone is waiting for you. Someone wants to scare you to death. Sleepaway Camp. You won't be coming home.
That is classic Grindhouse style trailer, dude.
Yeah, man. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. All right. I can't wait to dig into this because I'm not sure how you really feel about what I was trying to explain. You were more upset about me spoiling the movie to try and explain how I've interpreted it this time around with Angela being a victim of lifelong abuse.
I'm going to be God honest. After you did that, it's like we haven't even had that conversation at all.
I know. It's almost like we're trying to project what we're going to record in the future because we're recording these out of order and you just gave it away, Dick, so do your review.
Well, no one would have caught on, but you had to go ahead and explain it to everybody. Anyway, Sleepaway Camp 1. The first 20 minutes. Well, when we have some kids and their dad, they're playing on a boat. The dad goes to check out something, and then some of the kids, they they go up behind them, and the whole entire boat tips over. Everyone's laughing, having a great time. Then at the same time, we see this one kid. She's there's a camp right next to there, and there's this kid, and she's on her, she's doing some water skiing. And counselor's driving the boat, and her friend's like, hey, let me drive. And the counselor's like, are you fucking kidding me? And she's like, come on. I'm like, really awesome. My dad's boat's twice this size. And I'm like, weird brag, white privileged kid, but okay. So
there's no weird brag about that at all. That is straight up her telling everybody how her daddy's rich, so any damage she does, he'll take care of it.
Yeah.
That was a not so subtle fuck off peasant to everybody around her.
Yep. Get away from me, poor.
Right. You're tainting my style.
I can't believe I have to sit on a boat this close to a poor. So anyway, by the way, the kid who's doing the water skiing is freaked out constantly. Really, just let the fuck go. Then you just come to an easy stop in water.
What was it John Candy taught us in The Great Outdoors? Just go loose. Just let go and go loose.
Just let go loose. I mean, he didn't, but you just let go loose.
But he drilled that into his kid before he fucked up and made one of the greatest sequences in any bullshit 80s comedy ever.
Oh, fuck. The Great Outdoors is just an awesome movie. I love it.
Pure fucking joy. Anyway, back to this movie.
It is. Okay. Anyway, back to this movie, which is not pure fucking joy.
It's still really fucking good, man.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's good. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying it's not like you shouldn't feel joy in this movie.
No, it's a total fucking downer.
Yeah. So anyway, so the dumb kid, she gets to get her way because obviously she's rich and that's just what happens. Yep. And so she was driving the boat and she's looking back, not paying attention where she's fucking going. The person who's like fucking on the water skiing sees the three people trying to tell him to turn. She just refuses to look in front of her. By the time they see it, she tries to turn. The lifeguard freaks out, and when he goes to try to help her turn, he forwards the boat even faster towards them, launching themselves over, killing 2 out of the 3, and horrifying the dad's friend on shore. Killing 2 out of the 3, the dad and one of the kids. So that sucked, and it was a lot of screaming, almost too much screaming.
Yeah,
it's enough screaming.
This is definitely not a source of joy to watch this film, although I do enjoy it and I have some nostalgic joy watching it. But this film is an eternal fucking downer, and right off the bat, it kicks you in the balls and leaves its fucking foot there.
Right? Yeah, you're never gonna get out of this one.
Right, and when I say balls, I mean our collective genitals have been kicked, and the foot has not been removed.
Yeah, exactly. Wherever you're most sensitive, you just got kicked.
Right. If you're one of the aliens from Alien Nation, just under the armpit.
Yeah, right. So it's 8 years later, and 2 teens are now leaving, or preteens, teens, however you want to say it. They are leaving for camp, and that is actually our first clip.
We don't want to be late for the boss. Goodness, no. Now, that wouldn't do at all. Richard, Angela! Oh, here you are. Look what I did. I packed you and your cousin some goodies for the ride up to camp. Wasn't that nice of me,
Any chips?
Why, of course. I believe there's a whole bag. Why, I'm almost sure of it. Angela, isn't there anything special my little girl would care for?
We gotta go, Mom. It's getting late.
Why, of course you do, dear. We wouldn't want them to leave without us, now would we? No? No, I'm afraid that wouldn't do. Come, children, let's be on our way.
Now what?
I believe that I've forgotten something. Now what can it be? Oh, I remember what it is. I knew I wouldn't forget. I just kept reminding myself. In fact, I tied a string around my finger so I wouldn't forget. See? And I didn't. You never can be too careful.
Well, what is it already?
Oh, just a moment. I'll be right back.
Good old Mom's at it again.
Here they are, all filled out and signed by yours truly. Wasn't that nice of me,
What are they?
Why, they're your physicals, of course. We can't go to camp without our physicals now, can we? Just be careful not to tell anyone how you got them. Oh, no, I'm afraid that they wouldn't approve of that at all. Even though they know that I am a doctor.
No matter what they do, I'll never tell.
Oh, you're such a dear. Well, run along now.
So long, Mom.
Goodbye, my angel. I hope you have a good time, but of course you will. Take good care of my little girl, Richard.
Goodbye, Mom.
Goodbye, dear.
Okay, I need to just address something here.
All right.
I feel that while some people, the first time they watch this, just think that the mother in this sequence and aunt, in this case at the same time, is just overacting and is slightly just being irritating. I believe this actress is trying to portray that there is something severely not right with this woman and the kids just don't get it. And maybe she should not be in charge of children by herself because she doesn't have a husband, right?
Well, yeah. Her husband. There's no husband there, and she somehow got physical exams that people wouldn't like. So it makes you wonder what's Mom doing. But yeah, the actress was a stage actress apparently.
Yeah, and I feel like the awkwardness and the things that most people would misinterpret and think that she's overacting. Yes, she's projecting quite a bit, but I feel as though the actress is doing a take where she's trying to portray that this person has a distorted view of reality. And so the reason that she feels so just bizarre, off kilter, and kind of over the top isn't because the actress isn't doing a great job. I think it's because the actress is doing a great job of portraying it that way, because she wants this woman to feel completely not right, because she doesn't have a lot of time on screen to help set this up.
But I think she does a great job of portraying somebody who has issues.
Right. But at the same time, it could just be you feel uncomfortable because maybe the mother is just trying so hard. You know, like it's
I don't know, man.
It's got some facets to it, but yes, it feels wrong. Everything about this.
All this feels just off-putting.
Yeah, something's not right here already. It's obvious.
Yeah. So anyway, the campers are getting into camp, and Ricky, he meets his friend Paul. And they talk, but Paulo tries to introduce himself to Angela. Angela doesn't really talk. She's very introverted. And Ricky just says, she's very quiet. Then Paul goes, well, I'll see you back at the camp, or at the cabin. And he tells Ricky about his old steady girl, Judy. And apparently Judy grew some tits, according to Paul. So Ricky's excited now.
This is not our finest hour as young, burgeoning men, but this is a conversation that every young man has had, whether they are the one who is the perpetrator, like the friend, or the one that was on the receiving end of it.
Yes, we've all talked about a girl who developed.
Right.
It's just, it's before, and hopefully maybe our future boys won't, but if you teach them right, you hope.
It's okay to notice that someone has developed, and it's okay to say how good you think they look now. But to equate the fact that they've developed with how they want to live their life, or to judge them because they've developed faster
and also using the hand movements to talk about how they've grown.
Right.
Was less than couth.
I've never had like a conversation like that, like with one of my friends where I would have been comfortable. But if someone had said that someone else had developed and didn't do it in such a nasty manner, but was like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like, she looks so amazing now or whatever. That's the kind of conversation that I've had. But
I gotcha.
I've never had a friend do that, and if I had been around somebody that did that, I immediately didn't really hang around them that much.
Even like younger?
Yeah, even younger.
You know what? Come to think of it, I haven't either. Like, and I've seen like, and maybe that's some of the 80s that died in the 80s, because like almost all the 80s films that a guy describes a girl who developed, they hold their hands out in front of their chest.
Or they do the hourglass shape thing and all of that.
Yeah, I never had that either. Because I was shocked that you did, and then really, if I'm thinking about it, none of me and my friends ever talk like that either.
Right.
Like, to that extent. So I'm pretty pleased right now.
I don't really remember ever doing the hourglass shape thing either,
Never.
like to describe how someone looks now or anything like that.
I'm not coordinated enough to even do it.
Right. Well, I know from what I can remember from being a kid, the most that I really did was saying how incredible they look now, you know?
Yeah.
And like maybe try to say how they have grown, but like not be too gross and objectifying about it. And I'm going to credit that to my mother for raising me right and also being able to beat the living shit out of me if she heard me talking like that.
Yeah, my parents didn't like beat the shit out of me, but my mom was pretty on there too, on the ball with that. My dad traveled a lot for work, so a lot of time it was just my mom. And so I could be a part of it.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just something that we have to talk about.
But then again, I've never heard my dad say that kind of shit either.
Yeah.
So,
but there's a lot of gross objectification of way too young girls in this film as well. So
get ready. You know what? If this one hurt you guys, buckle the fuck up and maybe not listen to the next 10 minutes of this show because it's going to get fucking worse.
Yeah, well, let's just zoom past this as best we can.
All right. I'll attempt, but I'm just saying.
Well, we're going to have to deal with it. We do have to talk about it.
We got to talk about it. So I'm just telling you, if you had a rough time with...
I put on my big boy pants. Let's just do it.
I'm just saying, to all you people listening, if you have a tough time about two preteen boys talking about a preteen girl developing, buckle the fuck up, because we're about to go on a roller coaster of horribleness. Anyway, so all the while this is happening, some of the workers at the camp are watching the kids show up, and the main cook is, what's the term I'm looking for? A sick entire fuck.
He's a fucking pedophile.
He is, because one of the guys says, one of the other guys says, they're all too young for you. The guy says, there's no such thing as too young, you're just too old. And then he used the term, and I have it in quotes, baldies. That's fucking gross.
To describe underaged, underdeveloped girls that he is into, which is fucking disgusting.
Baldies.
Yes.
And so...
Dude, are you trying to make me make that a clip? Stop saying it.
I'm sorry, but it's gross.
It's fucking disgusting.
It's, I'm going to now, that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. But to let you know, karma comes back. So just everyone tighten up. We're going to have a good time.
This is something else that I wanted to talk about, just on the fact of the choice that the filmmakers made to include a character like this. At this time frame, this was something that people probably should have been more aware of and more concerned about with sending a bunch of kids off to camp. And this is a subject that should be dealt with and should be discussed. And I think the way they handle it could have been a little bit better, but they're basically showing that it's like in the culture that this guy can get away with talking like that and everybody else just thinks he's being just outrageous and that he doesn't mean it, or at least that's the inclination you get.
Joker.
Right. They're just like, oh, he's just kidding. But in all reality, he's testing the waters to see, if he can get away with it when he's getting ready to do whatever it is that he's going to do. And there are plenty of stories. Hell, even in Megan is Missing, what happened to one of those first girls, her first sexual experience was a sexual assault at camp when she was extremely young from a counselor.
Yeah.
So it's something that definitely happens. And I think as far as what they've done here, they've dealt with it actually quite maturely. And you see that there's a culture that's allowing this and abetting it, and that people almost kind of ignore the signs because they just don't want to believe that that's the case or it's not possible. And that's how a predator like this gets away with it. And I never thought of it in those terms. I'm just enjoying the movie and it's just part of the tale. But thinking about it, the societal commentary that goes with this and things that they're trying to state, hey, this is definitely a problem, just to maybe raise a little awareness. Good on you in the fucking 80s for doing that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm really impressed with that.
Good job. We're proud of you.
Not that it matters to those filmmakers, but sure.
No. So anyway, Ricky then talks to Judy, but now the older guys are all interested, again, because she's developed. Oh, also because Judy's fucking 40, all right? I don't care what you say. Judy's 40.
She's not 40, but... Yes,
Judy's a good 20 years older than the other kids who's supposed to be her peers. That's all I'm saying. Let's move on. All right.
Okay.
It shows. I'm just saying it shows.
But some of the subject matter that is dealing with Julie being in the film, or Judy or whatever the fuck her name is, I hate her so much.
I know.
But... some of the subject matter that she has dealt with in the movie, you need to have a more mature actress to be able to handle that kind of stuff.
I suppose we had to laugh. My wife wanted to watch this with me because, it's an old slasher type film. And those are the ones she likes to watch. And she's literally yelled out, that bitch is at least 35. What is she doing at camp with teenagers?
That was something that happened quite prominently in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing.
Yeah, you needed someone that looked younger if you were trying to play them off as like 14 or something from Meatballs.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Ricky's out in the cold, and he's not feeling too great about that, but it fucking happens, Ricky. Welcome to the planet Earth.
Yeah, every person around has experienced that. If you happen to be with someone who then develops enough to where the older type of people that they're attracted to are now into them, you get left by the wayside. We've all experienced that in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter how you identify.
Yeah.
If someone was into you, but then that person develops more and then gets into other people because they get someone they can upgrade with, you've experienced that.
And I'm just going to say, if you haven't experienced it, well, la-dee-frickin-da. I'm glad Paradise Island is so fucking great for you.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Congratulations on being the one that developed and got hot and was able to move on to hotter pastures.
I guess what I'm trying to tell you is go fuck yourself. So anyway.
Yeah, we all fucking hate you unless, they are you.
Still, to this day. And we're all far away removed from that. But still, we all hate you. We all hold grudges. So,
like a mountain stands up to a slight rain.
So Angela is getting settled into her cabin, and we meet the two counselors of her cabin. Susie, the nice one, and then the bitch, Meg. Shut up, Meg. Meg. Oh, I hate Meg. Oh,
Are you
Meg.
just going to do Family Guy bits every time she gets mentioned?
That's not. I try not to say "shut up, Meg" anymore. But I did not like Meg. I did not care for Meg. I didn't care what her name would. Her name could have been, Tanya, and I'd been like, ugh, Tanya. I don't like Meg. Meg's mean. Meg's not a nice person. Meg should not be a camp counselor.
Well, in the spirit of vulgarity of this show, let's just go with fuck off, Meg.
Fuck off, Meg.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Ange, though, kind of has a staring problem. And she kind of stares through just about everybody. She's staring at Judy as Judy's, getting ready. And Judy's kind of getting the creeps from her. I don't blame Judy on this. If you're just staring at people, it's a little fucking creepy. Okay? But
I believe
Meg
there's
gets
a very specific reason why Angela just stares ahead.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'll hold for the 20 minutes to be able to talk because I feel like we're getting closer, so I'm just going to shut the fuck up. But I want to say that I feel there's a very specific reason, and when we hit the 20 minutes, we'll talk.
At lunchtime, Ange isn't eating, and so Counselor Ronnie, kind of the head counselor, and he's what I call Ronnie Short Shorts, because that man Could an extra inch of fabric hurt you, Eddie? They're big shoots.
Hey, don't body shame him.
Shorts.
He very clearly works hard to have the body that he
does.
has. He should be able to show it off. It's not his shorts are not so short that it should be sexually uncomfortable. That was the style of the 80s where everybody wore shorts cut up that high to be
It just seems uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, but that's you. He is extremely comfortable in that, and you shouldn't body shame him because goddamn he was making me question my sexuality, dude. He was a gorgeous man. I'm not joking.
I'm not saying he didn't look good in the outfit. I'm just saying I didn't want to have to stare at his moose knuckle because it makes me feel bad about my own.
Oh, well, fair enough. Maybe if you just would have stared at it and been like, God damn, dude, and been just impressed and happy for him, maybe, you'd be better off.
I can't. Not when it makes me feel bad about myself.
Okay, so you're projecting your body issues onto him, and that's your baggage.
He body shamed me without actually talking to me.
No, this is you projecting, Matt. Let's move on.
He body shamed me 4 decades ago. All right?
I don't think that's how it works, but okay.
Fuck you. I'll tell you how it works.
Hey, back to Meg. Fuck off, Meg.
Fuck off, Meg. So anyway, so Ronnie, he takes her to the back and he tells the cook to take care of her, to make her, whatever she wants, something she'll eat. So the cook takes her back into the freezer. And he proceeds to start undoing his pants until Ricky comes back and kind of saves the day and tells her to get out of there, and Artie threatens Ricky to not say anything. And that was gross.
The cook picks Angela because she's so quiet and because she's so weird and no one will believe her.
And also she was just delivered to him like a fucking pepperoni pizza.
Well, the guy didn't. I don't think that counselor knew because there's no fucking way that counselor would do that otherwise. No,
but he still was delivered to him.
Yeah, but it's just basically this easy access, and then also she's awkward, she's shy, and he knows she's the perfect victim for him because he's a predator, and that's gross.
Yes. So anywho, later on, they have this big pot boiling for some soup. Or
corn.
Stock.
Corn. They're going to boil a shitload of corn.
He's throwing some more corn in there, and he's kind of up on a rickety chair. Then all of a sudden, we see a pair of hands grab the chair. It pulls slightly, then pulls harder, and Artie comes down with the giant pot of boiling water, scalding and boiling him. And that will end the first 20 minutes.
Okay, first of all, he sees the person doing it and says something along the lines of, "Oh, it's you little shit," or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Because the person stops and then he says, "You better help me up, help me get down," or something like that, or "You'll be sorry," or something along those lines, and tries to threaten them so he's clearly not afraid of them, even though in the situation he's about to get fucked up. And then that person pulls the chair out from under him and then boils him alive, quite literally.
Yes. And it's a fitting thing to happen to Artie.
The thing I want to focus in on and the thing I need to talk about, you bring up how Angela stares ahead and she's basically just non-responsive to everybody.
Yes.
I believe that because of her trauma from the lifelong abuse that she has suffered, she's shut down and she's being withdrawn. She may even have a dissociative identity disorder where there's more than one person inside of Angela. And when she's at camp and she's away from being forced to pretend who they really are, depending upon who they choose to be, with the person we have to refer to as Angela, they are trying to decide whether or not to seek help or tell people what's happening or what's happening to them in order to basically get away. I feel like they want to just scream for help and they're just sitting there frozen and terrified of everything that's happening around them. And they don't know who they really are, whether it's Angela or the person that they were born as. Just these two personalities even maybe just clashing back and forth, fighting in their head, trying to figure out what it is that they're going to do. And they're just terrified. And it takes them a while to open up. And because they're not even there. I feel like she's checked out. Angela's checked out, and whoever the person Angela was originally, is checked out. And they, as in both of them, are just basically not there, that nobody's at the helm. And Angela is not really just staring at people. Angela, outwardly, what everyone sees presented as Angela, is just literally not there. It's just shut down and everything's internal in the world inside of them instead of what's happening in the outside world, that world that they retreat to in this type of fear. I believe that is why what presents as Angela is just staring ahead. That's how I'm looking at it.
That's not a bad way to see it.
Because whoever they were before they were forced to be Angela by the ant, this entire time, and I told you this was going to make a better discussion, but whoever they were before the aunt forced them to become Angela is still there and is still going to fight and resist against this and will not fully give up no matter how much they're trying to be subverted. They should still exist somewhere. And that is who that person truly is. And the Angela is just has basically exists to do whatever it takes to protect them who they originally were. So that Angela has to fight against who they actually are to realize that maybe they could get help, maybe they could scream for someone to do something. But does Angela want to risk that? Because it could just be, people will just think that Angela is crazy and they, who they really are, isn't going to help them anyway. And just imagine all of the abuse that gets heaped onto Angela and them as we move forward with this main character. From this point forward, they are already terrified. Angela is already terrified. And all they're met with is derision because they're odd. And it just drives them that much further into the cycle of, well, no one will believe me. I'm trapped. This is even worse. Why can't I just go at home where all I have to deal with is my crazy aunt?
Not a bad way of looking at that. Angela's definitely in a tough place.
I never thought I would try to look that deeply into Angela's psychology in this, but I feel like it's enough that's there. There's enough stuff that's presented there to where if you want to really kind of think about it, you could start to essentially try to analyze what's going on with Angela, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel fine with doing this because Angela is a movie character. There is very clear things that the film creators were trying to do and the writer was trying to do with this tale that they're presenting for us here. So I don't feel like I'm doing any harm trying to get an idea of what might be Angela's character motivations and what trauma may drive her to do the things that she does. And also they, who Angela originally was, what they end up doing, because you don't really know which one's doing what ends up happening when you're seeing Angela doing what they are doing. Yeah. And they, I mean, is both of them or whoever else might be in there because of the abuse.
I'm sorry, who are we talking about?
I know it's confusing. But it's really hard to get the right gender pronouns when you're talking possible DID.
Yeah.
But all I know is there is a person there that was originally there that is being subverted to create Angela. And whoever they are, that's up to them to decide.
Yeah.
Gender-wise. I just don't know who that person is.
Seems like a good enough thing to say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we start the next 20 minutes. The doc's talking about the cook. Well, he's all sorts of fucked up and burnt. His eyes are almost gone. He can't even speak 'cause he's in so much pain, and there's no drugs that they can give him that will kill that pain. He'll be in pain forever, and all he can hope for is to slip into madness, and maybe then the pain will go away. So
that's very specific. That's a very specific diagnosis for an emergency service, but I dig it.
He deserves it.
Yeah, what this film is essentially showing us is that this kind of person deserves nothing but eternal torment for the rest of their days, and I'm down with that.
Right? Same. So Mel, the owner of the camp, keeps it quiet by paying the other kitchen guys and the other guys more money and promoting the other guy to head cook. So no one's going to ask too many questions because everyone's getting a little bit of a fatter wallet out of it. So then Ricky then pulls a joke on the nerd in his camp room by making him go face first into a butt. It's just something that happened.
It's a big production, but this is basically what happens. He tries to tell the person that no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try to do a sit-up, after this towel's been laying on their face over their eyes for a certain amount of time, their body just won't let them do it. It's an old school asshole kids trick.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfectly for the 80s.
Well, this is, when people say boys will be boys, this is the kind of stupid, gross shit that's kind of a bit borderline sexual abuse that boys do.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. This is, I have not personally done a joke specifically like this.
I never thought about doing a joke like this. Never. It never even through my mind goes, I can't wait to get someone else's face into an asshole.
The closest thing I ever did was had somebody make a fist and then make like they were going to arm wrestle against me, and then I would grab both arms, or I would grab with both hands on either side of their fist, and I'm going to try and pull your arm away, but you try and keep it exactly where it is, and you get them to where they're really, really pulling on it, then you let go and let him hit himself in the face.
Okay, see, that's not putting like their face in a butt.
No, that's like the close. Like I'm saying that this kind of tomfoolery is a boys will be boys situation, but this specific one is borderline sexual assault.
I completely agree.
The younger they are, the less they know how inappropriate it is, and I feel like these kids should know that that's not appropriate. Like they're doing it specifically to make this kid feel like shit and degrade him, so that makes it sexual assault, right?
Yeah,
It's not good, whatever it is.
It's not good. It's not good. It's not right. It's not funny. It's not fun.
Yeah, it's better to make him punch himself in the face, is all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, fists instead of butts, people.
Yeah, and the nicer version of that is you have them hold their hand open, and then you grab below their wrist with both arms, and you have them try to pull forward, so that the most that they do is slap themselves on the top of the head.
Yeah, fists. And slaps, not butts, people. So
Matt Psyop says fists and slaps, not butts, people.
Not butts, people. No butts and faces. Come on, everyone. Let's be cool.
Without consent.
Yeah. If everyone's consenting, then all butts and all the faces. But they gotta consent.
Clip.
But it's fine. We're all fine. Everything's fine. So anyway, let's see here. After that, his crew takes on another crew in baseball. And this gets a little weird because it's like the crew they're taking on, they all look like they should be college kids, but they're all being treated as if they were children, just like Ricky.
I think they are high school kids. I think they're supposed to be high school kids.
Well, anyway, Ricky's team, here's one other thing. So their camp counselor, Ricky's like the camp counselor of Ricky's cabin. He's like, yeah, I put money on this. I got money on you guys winning. And then it turns out he's also the umpire. He's umping as well. And you're like, hold on a tick. That doesn't seem right.
What? A guy can't put money on a game that he's the umpire of, Matt?
Yeah, that's like wrong.
You want someone who gambles to have ethics?
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd hope.
Oh, you're one of those. You're a sucker.
Yeah, I get I am a sucker, complete. So, anyway, then, the kind of the main guy, he's a bit of an asshole. So he kind of like was like, hey, Vicky, blah, blah, blah. And so they bet $5 a run, and Ricky's team only wins like 7-5. So in a sense, Ricky wins $10, but they all act like they all just won a shit ton of money. But Ricky's team beats them.
Yeah, it's like playing hearts for pennies, Like even if you come out like 2 cents ahead, you at least came out ahead.
Yeah. So that night at the lodge, there's a social going on, and all the dudes want to get chicks to go skinny dipping. And the main dude who Ricky just played against in baseball, he's trying to really make that happen. And when he realizes maybe no chicks are gonna do it, they all kind of argue, and he's like, God, nobody wants to go out. And he kind of has a temper tantrum, and you're kind of like, holy shit, dude, really?
He believes that he deserves access to women's bodies.
Yeah.
And he is acting accordingly like a really gross human being.
Yeah.
So, therefore, I'm just kind of wondering when he will be brought up on charges.
Soon. One would hope. Soon.
Well, the appropriate answer would be never, because he learns and before he does anything, thank goodness. But no, that's not the case.
That's not. I mean, who's the sucker now? So, then two guys offshoot, and they actually go hit on Ange. And when she won't reply, they start making fun of her. And one of them is really getting into this and really giving her a hard time. So, then Ricky and Phil show up, and they fight the two away, and Ricky kind of gets pounced a little bit, and he has to head to the nurse. So Paul flirts with Ange a bit, and he says he's gonna go, and she actually says goodbye. So she speaks for the very first time.
I do believe that in the battle between them and Angela, at this point, the Angela part of this person really likes this boy.
I think so. I think she speaks first to him. I think she has a liking to Paul.
I do believe that Angela, does like the boy. And I feel that it's because this is Angela's cousin's friend. And then also because if the Angela version that is talking to this young man will talk to them and make friends with this young man, then perhaps Angela can tell the person inside of her secret as to what is happening, being forced to live as Angela, and perhaps this person will care enough to help her. That's how I'm looking at it, because at this point, he's just looking to be friends with Angela, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it seems an innocent type thing.
Right.
He's just,
Well, that's how all relationships should start. You should start getting along at first and just kind of chatting. And yes, there can be some attraction, and maybe there is. But at this point, he's just trying to be friendly to someone that's a bit of an outcast, which is good on him. He's a good kid for that. And Angela opens up to him. And I do believe that it may be in this case because Angela feels like maybe he can help them.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that night, all the guys just go skinny dipping. 15 dudes jump in the lake all naked together.
Anytime you try to get a huge group of skinny dipping, this is pretty much what's going to happen. All the guys are going to run in naked. All the girls are going to grab their clothes and run off laughing.
Yeah, pretty much.
I am not saying that from personal experience. I'm just saying that's how it happens.
Yeah. One of the guys who was making fun of Ange, he takes another girl out on a canoe night trip. He starts talking about water snakes, and then the guys are coming back from all the guys are coming back from skinny dipping. They also make a joke about water snakes. And they're like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, dude, you guys should really just fucking slow your roll. You know what I mean? You guys kind of just took a 15-man skinny dip. Slow your roll on making fun of other people for a minute, will you?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a 15-man skinny dip. There's something wrong with this seething testosterone, toxic masculinity mass of shitheads coming back from the lake.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're in no position because they think they're being manly for a bunch of dudes going swimming naked together.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing, if you're into skinny dipping with a bunch of dudes, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Have fun, be safe out there, watch for like ticks and shit. Just, whatever you're going to do, take a shower afterwards after you go swimming in the lake.
Right.
It's just the healthy thing to do.
I think in the lake, you're more concerned with leeches than ticks and maybe mosquitoes.
Yeah, leeches or, just other shit. There's tons of shit in lakes. Just, all I'm saying is be safe.
Well, the reason I'm making fun of them is because they thought they were going to get this big, like, swimming naked craziness. Yeah, where all the chicks are going to get into them all swimming naked.
The only reason I'm making fun of them is because it's obvious they did not want to just skinny dip with a bunch of dudes. They wanted girls to be with them, and they didn't get that.
Right.
So let's just be 100% honest. You should really slow down how much you make fun of other people when it's like that. You know what I mean?
Right. You're not exactly on a pedestal at this point. You're if anything, you're punching way up.
Yeah, you're not like the coolest dudes in the world. So just, settle the fuck down.
Exactly. Bunch of fucking chads.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. They are a bunch of fucking chads. So anyway, then the guy, as a joke, tips over the canoe because it's always known the quickest way to get into a girl's bed is to just be apparently a dick to her and get her all wet and tip over a boat she's in. I mean, holy fuck, people. I mean, Jesus Christ.
This seems like the stupidest immature prank to try and impress a girl since dipping her hair in an inkwell behind you.
It is. It is. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, it's just so fucking stupid. I don't know why they did this other than just as an excuse for how this character is going to die, which is totally fine. And we'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. I was dreading so much worse because how I remembered it was he was going to take her out into the middle of the lake and basically make her swim back unless she was willing to do something with him out there in the boat on the lake.
Oh, that would have made me hate this guy even more. And I already don't like this guy.
Right. I fucking loathe this son of a bitch, but that's where my mind went. And I'm like, I know that happened, right? That's what this guy's about to do because I remember her swimming back.
Yeah.
I feel much more comfortable with what the filmmakers did here where they just made him an immature douchebag that was pulling a prank on a girl he didn't really like to feel better about himself.
Yes, me too. That's not bad.
That's still asshole, but at least it's not rapist, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's still a dick, but at least the poor girl was spared. Some other horrific shit happening to her. You know what I mean?
And she's such a fucking strong swimmer. She's back at the shore in no time.
Oh, yeah. She's like, fuck you, bitch. I'm out of here. I can swim like a motherfucker.
Exactly.
See you later. Who needs you around? So then, after she swims ashore, he goes underneath the boat, where you can be underneath it. And then a head pops up. And he's like, oh my God, you. And then he gets dragged under and he drowns his ass out. So he's dead. We no longer have to suffer through his horse shit anymore. So thank God.
So far, the people this killer is taking out, I'm okay with.
Yeah, so far, everyone this killer's killed, they have deserved to die.
This guy was a bit of a douche, but the things that he did to get him killed, how they were ripping on Angela and really degrading her and treating her like shit, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, maybe Artie definitely deserved to die, even though he didn't die, he deserved to die.
No, he deserved what he got much more, because he's going to live in pain before he dies.
Yeah, that's good stuff. But while he, may deserve, or who knows what anyone deserves, just to be completely honest. But I don't know if this guy deserved to die or not, but I'm not also going to weep for him. It's
in the context of the film and what this person has done and how the killer has already been pushed over the edge because of what has happened earlier in the film that has caused all of this at this point. I feel I can very much say that I feel this person deserved to die.
Cool. Listen, I ain't going to argue with you. You know what I mean? It's just... I'm not that broken up about it.
Right. Like I don't think anyone maybe really deserves to die, but in a movie I can fucking say it because they're not a real fucking person and I don't have to feel guilty.
There you go. Yeah.
The character deserved to fucking die.
That character definitely deserved to fucking die. And to feel all the righteous pain it possibly fucking could.
While drowning.
So then the next day the lifeguard's picking up and he's kind of bitching because, he didn't want to actually have to pick anything up, but hey, shit happens.
This was the most meatballs scene in the whole movie.
Yeah, he's complaining about Mel. Anyway, he turns over the boat to pick it up, and there's the kid. He's dead. Snakes come crawling out from his mouth, and so there's the water snake for you. Is it funny now, you stupid bitch?
Irony, love it. Also, makeup, incredible, dead body.
That was really well done. I thought, you know what, we didn't even talk about it. I thought Artie was really well done.
Yeah, the fucking burn makeup was
being
incredible.
A burn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an unrated version, or at least it is all of the stuff included. I've seen versions of this with a lot of that stuff trimmed down and cut out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like I don't really remember, or at least I don't remember it being this gross when I was a kid, but it's actually pretty gross. The dead body looked horrendous. When the snake came out, it was horrific. And the burn marks on the cook were really goopy and just gross, and you could almost sense the pain of what that burn might be like. I think they did an excellent job on the effects for all of this. Absolutely.
I think so. I agree.
I just don't remember them being that intense, so maybe my memory is faltering, but I feel like maybe I saw a Blockbuster version of this where they trimmed it down without telling anybody.
They might have.
That's what Blockbuster did.
So anyway, the next day, of course, they're taking them all away, and they are getting everyone set, and the cops are there, and they're taking the body away, and that leads to our next clip.
As I can tell, the boy drowned. Of course, we'll have to wait for the medical examiner to check him over before we can be certain.
Of course he drowned. He was horsing around, a canoe tipped over, he must have hit his head.
I don't think so. Weren't any bumps or bruises when I checked. Though, again, I'm no expert on this matter.
It was obviously an accident. I mean, the boy might have got scared and panicked, right?
That could be a logical explanation.
So it was one of those fluke accidents we could not have foreseen, and that is all there is to it.
I don't know.
It was an accident. I mean, that's what the officer said, right?
I said the autopsy will be more conclusive.
Right. You'll call me as soon as you know?
You can count on it.
If you'll excuse me, I have the unpleasant task of informing the boy's parents. Thank you for your help, officer.
Jesus, the man doesn't take no for an answer, does he?
I guess he's just uptight about bad publicity.
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, weren't you about to say something just before he bit your head off?
I don't know. I was just thinking. I remember that boy being a pretty damn good swimmer.
I sure hope you're wrong.
That dude's lucky he's so fucking hot because he's not a very good actor.
No. But, so Mel's obviously a piece of shit and just worried about his business.
He doesn't want to close the beaches,
kids.
Matt.
He doesn't want to close... He doesn't want to close the bars or the restaurants, okay? So let's just not worry about things.
Oh, yeah, that too. He's that kind of guy.
That was topical.
Painfully so.
Yeah, right. So, anywho, with everything happening, we cut to the girls playing volleyball, and Paul stops by to talk to Ange for a bit because she's just kind of watching the kids play volleyball. She's not really comfortable playing with the other kids, which is fine. Camp shouldn't be so regulated that you have to pick something that you absolutely have to do. Just saying.
Well, idle hands are the devil's plaything, and a camp counselor's job is basically just trying to keep hands from pawing other bodies. So they have to keep the hands busy with activities.
Oh, well, that's horseshit too.
Well, I went to a Christian summer camp because my parents apparently hate me, and that's how they explained it.
I can't believe they do that to you.
Yeah, they fucking did. Why do you think I'm so fucking angry, Matt?
I just thought it was cool. I just thought you were going for a look.
No, I'm heavily damaged, son.
Anyway, later on, Paul then asks her if they want to, go to the movie with him, like meet at the movie or walk together. And she says, yeah, of course I want to. And he's like, all right, because, that's pretty cool for the old guy, the old Gus and Roo there, to old Paulie getting himself, into the game.
That's a really awkward way to try and be like a wingman in retrospect.
Way to go, Paul! You got yourself in the game there.
Someone's interested in you. Congrats.
Good job, I guess. I don't know what else to say to you.
Matt has clearly attached his ego to this kid because that's the best he's got right now for this film.
I just feel happy for anybody who gets a leg up, who's obviously nervous and, asking somebody out. It's the confident douchebags, I wish poorly on. And, the kids who stammer through it. I'm happy for you, man. You did good.
So you're saying if someone is smooth and they got game, you hate them?
Kinda, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel personally attacked.
You should, bitch. Anyway, Judy awfully complains about why do they have to, play when Judy does, or Judy, why do they have to play when Ange doesn't? And they're all kind of pissed off, and Meg included. Meg's being a real bitch right now.
Fuck off, Meg.
Meg's being yeah, fuck off, Meg. Being mean to people you don't need to be mean to. It's fucked up.
Are you being triggered? Do we need to take a moment for you to get into a space that's safer?
I'm sorry. Fine. I'm fine. Fine.
All right.
Anyway, after all that, Susie sticks up for her, though. So thank you, Susie. Susie's a good person.
Yeah, I dig Susie.
And by the way, that ends at 20 minutes.
Okay.
So
yeah, there's a handful of counselors that are at least trying to make Angela's experience better, and they are trying to tailor the summer camp experience to what Angela is comfortable with, which is how it should be when you are away and you have to be put into somebody else's charge. They should try to make you as happy and comfortable as they can.
Yeah, I agree.
These camp counselors are abusive dickwads.
Right? I mean, just the fucking worst.
Muscle-bound dude is okay. He's just a little irresponsible in that he didn't, make sure that the staff in the kitchen were cool before leaving them with a kid alone.
And Susie's cool.
She's at least trying. Mel, the guy who runs the place, is a fucking libertarian Republican dickwad.
I'll tell you, really, God's honest truth, almost everyone but Mel and Meg.
Yeah, they're the fucking worst, and then obviously the kids are all terrible.
Yeah. So anyway, Jesus Christ. So all right, starting the next 20 minutes, it's a movie night. And Paul walks Ange back to her cabin after the movies, and you see Judy's all jealous and pissed about it. Paul sneaks a couple of kisses, but Ange is kind of weirded out by it. And so Paul leaves, and we see Judy is really jealous now, just seething. Paul gets back to the cabin just in time to watch Ricky pull the shavy cream trick of Mozart the nerd.
That's an okay prank to pull on somebody.
That's fine. And after he wakes up, Mozart's understandably pissed. He's been picked on a lot. So he takes out his knife and says he's going to kill Ricky and starts chasing Ricky around as Ricky laughs maniacally. The counselor then comes in and takes the knife away from Mozart and says you're not going to get it back. To which then Ricky sticks up for Mozart, even though Mozart was just trying to kill him, saying he was just goofing around. So they all stuck up for Mozart. Like, it was almost kind of like a good-natured rib, I guess, because it's like, hey, I was an asshole to him, so I should get chased around with a knife every now and then, I guess.
See, this is where I start to identify a little bit with Ricky, because there have been times, believe it or not, Matt, in my life that I have been the asshole.
Get the fuck out of here.
Right?
What?
Yeah.
You?
Right. Now,
I mean, no, that was all the way back 10 minutes ago.
can we just pretend like it's not constantly every second of every day?
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. You get out of here. Tell me more.
In the circumstances where I'm not just abusing you. The people that I have been asshole to in my life, there have been a couple of times when someone has called me out on it, or I have gotten somewhat of a reprisal. There's been a time where I was really kind of pushing it a little too far, being a dick, and, just razzing somebody I thought I was friends with. They got pretty pissed off, and on the way through a door, they slammed the door on half of me as best they could.
Oh, Jesus.
It didn't really hurt me, but I obviously was pissed, got angry, spun around, looked at them, realized who it was, and said, "Are we good now?"
Oh, yeah.
They said yes, and I said, "Good, I'm sorry. I deserve that," and just walked away.
Oh, that's good.
Because I knew when it happened, I deserved it, and because it was him and what had just happened there, I got it. Because I didn't realize he was taking it the way that he did, and when I realized that he did, that was my fault. I earned that. And that's how I identified with Ricky in this moment. Like, he's been a real prick to this kid. He's earned it, and now him and this kid are going to get along just fine. They're gonna patch it up, and he even sticks up for him, which is pretty awesome.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think it's great writing. I think it's a great way to really establish how great of a character Ricky really can be.
Yeah, he likes fucking around, but, in the end of the day, he's like, but we're still all pals and shit like that. You're like, oh, it's like the sibling thing. I'll give him all the shit I want, but someone else tries to give him shit, and then I get pissed.
Yeah, how can I make his life a living hell constantly if you're doing it?
Listen, they can't do that to our pledges.
Only we can do that to our pledges. Right.
Exactly. So anyway, then Paul walks in and the counselor gives a joke like how, whatever, lover boy, when they're all going to bed. And then they all gang tackle Paul, even the counselor. See, I don't know, that felt like a feel-good moment. Like, that's like a big brotherhood in that cabin. Even the counselor, who can be a hard ass, is like, I love these kids, these goddamn kids.
This is the kind of summer camp experience that you want, is where everybody gets along and they all become a giant team because they're all in this together. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what you wanted. Yeah. You wanted that.
Yeah, that's the camaraderie you are looking for when you are sending kids to camp, not constant 24-hour Jesus prayer.
Yeah, that's supposed to be what camp's about. Is kids, learning some shit and also having fun, being active and forming friendships.
Yep.
There you go. There's your camp shit for the week. Paul visits Ange the next day, and Judy is real snarky about it. Then Meg shows up, and Ange just stares at Meg, and this fucking annoys Meg. And Meg's a huge fucking ferocious bitch and starts shaking Ange until Ronnie stops her and sends Meg away.
That is fucking abuse is what she's doing.
Meg should have been sent home.
Yeah, fuck off, Meg, you're fired. But no, she has a way to be able to get away with this kind of abuse.
Fuck you, Meg. And I think you're about to see later on how she gets away with so much horseshit.
Right, because fuck off, Meg.
Fuck off, Meg. That night, Judy's getting out of the shower and starts making fun of Ange and getting mad at her for getting Meg in trouble. Then calls her some derogatory gay names for not showering, and also then starts making fun of where she's at, development-wise. Pretty much saying that because she, is... well, what the cook would refer to as a baldy. That was a big thing in this movie. A real big thing.
She insinuates, yes, that she has not gone through puberty at all yet and is therefore not even really fully a person, is still just a child.
She has not gone through the change.
Right, at all. Yeah.
At all. So, anyway, she keeps going like that, so Susie tries to stop her. Susie yells at her to stop. Judy tells her to fuck off. So Susie does the only logical thing and slaps the fuck out of Judy. Now, that's still abuse. You shouldn't do it, but fuck did that look gratifying.
See, Matt, in the 80s, it was okay for camp counselors to strike children that are being fucking egregious.
Oh, good. I mean, I'm just saying, you can't really yell at Meg for shaking Ange and then give fucking Susie a pass. But at the same time...
but we can, Matt, because this is a film, and because it's a fantasy, we can indulge in our wildest fantasies about it as much as we want, and we can cheer on Susie for slapping the character that we hate.
Oh, we can?
Yeah, it's totally fine, as long as you realize in real life that's not cool.
Yeah, I totally realized that, and fucking yeah.
So just relax and have fun, and let's finish off the movie.
Yeah, I'm for it. So then Ange says she's going to go see Ricky. Ange is walking, and some dudes are on top of one of the cabins throwing water balloons, and they throw one right at her, hitting her, and, that pisses Ricky off. Paul goes to make sure that, she's okay, but Ricky is just yelling expletives, telling them that he's going to get them all, that he's going to, make them all pay, all this other kind of stuff. So, really just threatening them pretty badly, like things you probably don't want to say out loud because they could be used against you in a court of law.
Things that I had to learn not to shout out loud. That's the stuff I have to say quietly to myself.
Yeah, all that kind of shit.
And then act on later how I want to, and then make it so that I can't be proven to have been the perpetrator. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm oversharing.
All right. Hey, man, you okay?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. And my lawyers have advised me that was satire. We're going with, satire, Matt.
That's what you're going to go with, satire? That's okay.
I'm being told yes, right. Satire. Yeah, we're good.
Satire. All right. Cool. So Mel breaks everyone up and he yells at the kids. They're like, you're not getting dinner or some shit. Yells at the kids throwing the balloons and then yells at Ricky and says, your language is bad. When really Ricky should be commended for sticking up for somebody who can't fight back, So again, what I'm trying to say is, fuck you, Mel. You're not a good person.
Yeah, fuck off, Mel. Fuck off, Meg. Fuck off, Judy. Also, Ricky, buddy, I have anger issues too. We have to teach you how to focus your hate.
Yeah.
And then release it at the right time when they can't prove it's you.
And also learn how to, learn how to kill somebody.
Wait, what?
What? No, I didn't say that. What are you talking about?
That's satire. Satire. We're good. It's satire, Matt. We're fine.
Yeah, learn how to be a satire.
Learn how to be an efficient killer, Ricky. I mean, your cousin's got it down.
Yeah, right.
Spoiler alert.
Maybe ask your cousin for, some help on that.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying, Angela's got it right if you're going to be a psychotic vengeance-seeking person. Ricky is basically a hothead. He's terrified, and the way he reacts is by talking big.
Yes, that's true. But he's a hothead, but he's also will fight. I mean, he'll go toe-to-toe with somebody for what he believes is right.
Well, yeah, and it's his cousin, and they're fucking with her, and they're making her feel like shit, and he's justified in his anger, but, saying he's going to kill all of them, clearly he went overboard.
That is true. So anyway, let's see here. So then the lead household kid, who's kind of leading the charge, he's the one who wanted all the girls to go skinny dipping. He's the one who led all the balloons getting thrown. All this general shithead kid. He decides he wants his buddies are gonna all go play baseball, and he's like, "That's cool. I gotta go take a wicked dump first." His words, not mine. But
also accurate either way.
Yeah, you gotta take a wicked dump, grab some magazine because that's what you fucking do.
Well, back then when you didn't have a phone that you could just peruse anything you fucking wanted on, sure.
That's also very true. Okay, so he sits down in the toilet, starts taking a shit, and at that point, we see a bar go through the stalls to kind of he's getting fucked with, and everyone's having a bad time. And then the screen gets cut out, and he gets a bunch of bees nets gets thrown in there.
Yeah, it was
bees. I think they want it to be hornets, though, because bees will just leave you the fuck alone. But, whatever.
Well, not if you shake up the nest a bunch and then throw it in there.
That's true.
I know that from satire. One thing I wanted to point out, that was a broom handle, and it's across multiple bars that make it to where the door can't be pushed open in the stall that they're in. Then the bees are unleashed.
This is true. So, this kills the kid, and he is now full-on dead.
Like Macaulay Culkin in My Girl he is.
Yeah, right. Mal is now pissed. They said they're done. He's talking to Ronnie, and only 25 kids are now left. So many parents have now dragged all their kids out of the camp.
Can you blame them?
No, man. I'd drag my kid out of there. I'd be like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
And then he says he knows who the killer is. He sees the hate in his eyes. He's not saying who yet, but fuck it, he's talking about Ricky.
Okay, Mel's clearly an alcoholic, and he is losing his shit over all of this, and he's trying to drink his way out of it because he gets progressively more the signs of a long-term angry drunk, and he's also fixating like a long-term angry drunk on this person.
Definitely. Ange is waiting in his outside, and she is met by Paul. And she thought that he was the killer at first, and he was like, "There's no killer, just somebody played a practical joke that went too far." So they're just he's not believing any of this horse shit. Then Paul, he takes Ange and to the lake, and they have some playfulness run about, and then they start making out, and Ange has a flashback to her and her brother watching her dad and the guy who was watching him from the beach going at it in bed. So their dad was a homosexual. So they watch them in bed together. Then it flips to her and her brother are in bed together, not doing anything weird, just, her brother's pointing at her. All right. And then she snaps to and she runs off.
I don't believe that was her brother.
You don't believe the little kid in there was her brother?
In the dream that was the bed?
Yeah.
I believe that is who they were originally when they were a him. And
well, you don't know that.
Right, but you didn't know that at the time, but I believe that's what that represents. We've already spoiled it. Remember, Matt? You got real pissed about it.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I'm totally mad at you right now. I totally forgot.
Yeah, we totally just had that conversation before we did the review. We get it.
You charmed me over.
But that's what I'm getting at is, so essentially part of the identity issues that are going on are whoever they were when Angela was really little and their father was still alive, they saw her father in bed with a man, which would be extremely confusing for a child that didn't know that might be the case, and I think that's how they're portraying it. Then they lose their father and they get ended up living with their aunt, and then they are forced to then become Angela. These are all things that are wayside points that are what are making Angela who she is at this moment and who the person is that used to be before they were forced to become Angela is also dealing with all of this stuff together. Again, how I'm looking at it. Sorry to go so long, but there we go.
All right. So so she runs off, like I said. The next day, it's Capture the Flag Day, and Paul's trying to talk to Ange, but she leaves, and Judy starts cozying up to him. Ricky then runs into Ange, and he has a plan on how to get the flag, but he needs Ange's help. They're going to go ahead and they're going to cut through the forest. While going through the woods, both Ricky and Ange catch Paul and Judy making out. Ange just leaves, Paul goes running after her, and Ricky calls Judy a scumbag. That ends that 20 minutes, and we're going into the final 30.
Okay, just real quick. Judy clearly is doing this because she has a very serious problem with Angela. She doesn't even like Paul. That's already obvious anyway. It wasn't jealousy. She just saw a way to... She was jealous that Angela was happy. She didn't like that Angela was happy because she resents Angela.
That's what it was, because there was jealousy, but it's jealousy because Ange is happy.
And at that particular moment, she wasn't feeling good about herself.
Well, I mean, she might have. She might feel fine about herself, but she doesn't like that someone else is also feeling fine about themselves.
She dislikes Angela so much, seeing her happy ruins her day.
Yeah. That sounds like kind of where it's at.
Yeah, okay. There's that. We already kind of talked about the dream, and I kind of went over what I felt that represented. So given everything that we've talked about, and then all of the things that are happening while at camp that is heaping on this type of abuse, things are coming to a head, and at some point, the reason that Angela starts the killing becomes, let's just say, supercharged in this last 30 minutes. So let's just go through
this last 30 minutes, this is why I did a last 30 minutes. This is the fucking thrill ride, my friend.
Right, and I believe that that's the structure it was set up in anyway, so I feel you're justified in that. Continue.
Yeah, this 30 minutes, this is the get ready for the thrill ride. Paul tries to make up with Ange, but Judy comes over when they're all down at the lake. But Judy comes over and tells Ange that Paul called her a prude. Paul gets up and leaves, and then we see Mel talking to Ricky about saying, hey, I haven't got the chance how your summer's going. And Ricky's like, yeah, now it kind of stinks. He goes, it's all right, but there's not enough guys to get a ball game going. And he's like, yeah, it's too bad so many kids had to leave. And then Judy and Meg are giving Ange shit about swimming, so Meg picks Ange up to throw her in the lake. That is so egregiously fucking horrible to do when you're supposed to be trusted with these kids' safety. You should fucking just burn at a stake.
She doesn't even know if she can fucking swim, right? Because we've never actually seen her swim. She's never said she can fucking swim. This is literally just abuse and attempted murder, it could be argued.
Yeah, fuck you, Meg.
Fuck off,
you.
Meg. You are a horrible person.
Fuck off, Meg. You don't belong in any facet of this world. And not to spoil it for everybody, but that's going to be rectified real quick.
Well, of course it is. We're watching a slasher film, are we not?
Goddamn right. So anyway, Ricky sees this and he goes to try to help her. But then he gets stopped by fucking Mel, who goes, yeah, that's how it always goes. She gets in trouble and you're always there to try to fix it for everybody. How you gonna do it this time? Gonna drown her? And he's freaking out on him and he's like, dude, let me go. I just want to help my cousin.
Yeah, dude,
like,
your employee is about to drown one of the children in your charge and you've had plenty of deaths already. Maybe you should focus in on that.
I get it, you want to fuck her, but let's settle it the fuck down here, Big Shoots.
And also, Big Shoots, that's gross. How old is she? Is it actually even legal?
Yeah, I don't even know how old fucking Meg is, so you don't know. You don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
Everything is
All I know
rotten.
is it's fucking gross.
Yeah, all of it. Everything is gross, and this is attempted murder.
Yes. So anyway, Ricky finally gets loose, and the lifeguard comes over, and they both help Angela out of the water. The lifeguard calls Meg an asshole.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm like, good job, lifeguard.
Yeah, and
I mean, I don't know where you fucking been for the last hour, but you're all right.
The other thing that's nice about it, too, is in the writing, he calls someone something that's not like a non-gender specific thing for being a pain in the butt, you know?
Yeah.
Calls him an asshole for being an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, we're guilty of still gendering it as well, and we're trying to get better at it, but sometimes you just have to call someone a bitch, even if they're not.
And Meg's being a bitch right now.
Right. Meg is being the very category of that word, a fucking awful human being.
I'm sorry to say it like that, but what do you... I mean, fuck, come on.
Exactly.
Meg's just being terrible.
Yeah, fuck off, Meg.
Fuck off, Meg. So, as Ricky's taking her back, these other little kids start throwing sand at Ange. And you're like, holy fuck, you little shits. What the fuck is wrong with you? They're all little kids, too. Little bastards.
Yeah, all the little kids that are left, they all start throwing sand on Angela and Ricky as he's trying to help her up the hill of the beach there. And like the counselor that's supposed to be watching him wasn't paying attention. He just thought they were kicking sand around to kick sand around.
Yeah, and then when he finally sees, he gets a little pissed at him. He's like, what the fuck are you kids doing?
Doesn't he call them a bunch of little monsters or a little shit?
Yeah, he goes, come here, you little monsters, stop it.
Yeah.
Like, he calls them out. So, I mean, most of the counselors here are good. They're good people, but it's just they for some reason got a whole ton of little monsters on them.
Well, this becomes a motif of the series, is that as long as you go away to camp where you can be whoever you want to be, as long as you aren't harming someone else or ruining their experience of camp, and you actually doing your job, particularly as a counselor, you are totally fine in these films.
Why can't it be like Meatballs? Why can't it all just be like Meatballs?
By the way, the entire cast of Meatballs would be slaughtered in a Sleepaway Camp film.
Yeah, except for Bill Murray, because he's just hardcore.
Maybe.
He'd find a way out of it somehow. I don't know how, but it's fucking Bill Murray.
I think if Angela was sent to the Meatballs camp and, Bill Murray's character took her under the wing of the kid that was running and, Rudy the Rabbit, and they all started running together, I think this would have turned out a completely different film.
I agree.
But it's Sleepaway Camp, and we didn't get that, so let's get back to it and focus.
Well, let's get back to killing. That night, the counselors all kind of meet up, and they're all talking to, all their duties for the night, in which there's only going to be a social tonight. So... just all the counselors to make sure they're there. The counselor with the little monsters, for kind of a payment, because I think this is also kind of a punishment for all the kids. All the little kids have to go camping outside with their counselor.
That's not punishment. You love that kind of stuff when you're a kid.
And these kids didn't because it was fucking cold, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they deserve it if they didn't love it, but I would have fucking loved it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At least, if nothing else, it was a punishment to the counselor because he wasn't into it. Anyway, Meg gets the night off. After everyone leaves, Meg goes up and talks to Mel about a dinner he promised her. Fucking gross. And, of course, Mel's like, yeah, all right. So it's like, wow, Meg's got some real issues herself, and so does fucking Mel. So fuck everybody.
Yeah, fuck off all around, pretty much.
Fuck these two. They shouldn't get enjoyment in life. All right, so the girls shower, obviously, and their cabin is full, so all the girls are trying to shower after the day. So Meg goes next door. Goes next door to use the shower. And as she's showering, all of a sudden we see a knife. It looks like the knife it is the knife that Mozart had, that a counselor confiscated. And we see the knife go right into Meg's back and then is drawn down, or no, upwards. Goes up and into Meg's back, killing her. Or no, it is dragged down. Wrong. It was dragged down, killing her. Either way, Meg's dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. The wicked witch, stupid witch.
Which old witch?
What?
Which old witch?
The witch old the wicked witch.
There you go. She's most sincerely dead.
She's not just very dead, she's really most sincerely dead. Where's the fucking Lollipop Guild? We need them. Come on out here, fellas. We all get to party tonight. Everyone's getting drunk on shit. Let's go. So, anyway, the camping group that is being punished finds their own little spot, and they're all gonna cut some wood. They have this little hatchet. So then Paul runs into Ange, and she's looking for Ricky. Paul tells her that she's not feeling well, and he's laying down in bed because dinner sucked. Paul says that he's really sorry, and that Judy, then Judy comes around with another guy and busts through those two, and she's just being a total bitch. And so then Paul again apologizes, says how much he hates Judy, and then Anne says to meet him down by the waterfront after the social. We see two kids who are camping outside. They beg to go back because it's too cold. So Eddie, the counselor, takes them back, leaving the other kids there. As they leave, we see someone is coming up on all these sleeping kids in their bags, and they see the hatchet. Mel is going around looking for Meg. Judy and some asshole, they are making out in her cabin, and the dude hides under the bed as Mel comes in. She tells Mel that, Judy tells Mel that Meg went next door to go shower, but that was like right after dinner. Mel leaves. Dude gets up. He puts his shoes on, says he's bailing. He doesn't want to get in trouble. This pisses fucking Judy off. Mel finds Meg dead. He has a paper clips moment where he freaks out. Mel self-monologues a lot. Have you noticed that?
I think he is more of a muttering fucking drunk, just spurting out every thought in his head as he's going.
That could be, too.
Yeah.
Mel, you monologuing son of a bitch.
I have been around a drunk who did that a lot, so that's what I'm thinking it is.
I fucking told you what we do in private is our own time, not to bring it up on the fucking show.
Wow, you just doxed yourself. I was actually referring to someone in my family, dick.
Oh. I meant, yeah, families, right?
Satire.
So weird. Yeah, but Mel says Mel's like, I had him and I let him go. I'll go get him now. So Mel's on his way to go get Rick. We cut to Judy's doing her hair with a curling iron, and she sees a figure in the doorway. The figure, it's fucking Ange. You can tell right now that it's Ange.
Yeah, the silhouette's a dead giveaway.
Yeah. Anyway, the figure attacks Judy. First of all, punches her, knocks her out, puts a pillow over her face, and then shoves a hot curling iron up her hoo-ha, killing Judy.
This is one of the most violent, criminal,
yeah, I don't know if Judy
murders.
earned that one. I don't think Judy earned that one.
She has instrumentally made this person's life a living hell systematically for how long, and also orchestrated this near drowning, which triggered the original trauma that sent her to the ant and turned her into her from who they were. This is a focal point for all of the rage and everything that has happened at this point. That is why Meg dies so brutal and violent with that drag of the knife down and that rage. And because all of what I would say Judy's overly female jealousy and activity towards being so much a woman, if you will, and more of a woman, if you will, than the character of Angela or the personality of Angela that they are. And this all comes to a head and it becomes this very sexualized violence because it's part of that rage, I feel, and that's why it gets channeled that way. This is a person that is no longer whole in any way, shape, or form and may never come back from this lifetime of neglect, abuse, and all of these horrible things that have happened to drive them this far to become a murderer. They're gone. Yeah.
There's no coming back from this.
Yeah, this is the point when this person is neither nor instead of either or of who they were and Angela now. This is something different at this point that could hopefully be brought back to who they are supposed to be with enough treatment and counseling, but they are no longer who they were, either Angela or who they were before they were forced to be Angela.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And yeah, it's not a good way to go.
No. Did they think that way whenever they were putting this scene in? Probably not. They just wanted a really fucking brutal kill, and they've had Judy be so evil. They wanted to really make her suffer. It's extreme. It pushes boundaries that many other fucking slasher films wouldn't have even gone for. And it indelibly leaves a mark on your psyche the first time you see it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a hardcore kill. That was
I'm arguing that it's necessary because of the psychological aspects of what is going on with this character. I feel that it needs to be there to represent that they're no longer just destroying threats. They are purposely causing tremendous pain because they are now sort of indulging in it and getting some type of revenge. It's not about just trying to protect yourself or a crime of opportunity by burning.
No, this is definitely revenge now. They are making society pay for everything that was ever done to them,
or at least the people that have harmed them.
Right now, it's focused on people that's harmed them, but unchecked, who knows who this could spread to?
Anyone who tries to ruin the camp experience for anyone else in the future of the series. That's basically what it is. If you're shitty at camp, you go.
Oh, so yeah, this becomes if you're a shit person, shit things gonna happen to you.
Basically.
Well, I mean, that's not bad at all. So let's see here. So then the counselor comes back. Eddie told the sleeping kids, and he finds that they are all hacked to fucking death in their sleeping bags.
Eddie's response here, this actor really fucking brings it. I really feel it, and he does an amazing job. How he starts getting physically ill and just starts really losing himself, and just
he vomits and everything.
Yeah, and
good shit.
How upset he is. He does such an amazing job in this, and I think he really fucking sells it, because all we really see is a bunch of like sleeping bags that are all fucked up with a little fake blood.
And these aren't like the teenagers.
These are little kids. Right. It's horrific, but it's heavily implied, and it wouldn't have worked if it wasn't for his reaction, because all you see is fucked up sleeping bags, and it doesn't sell it on its own. It has to be his reaction.
You see some blood and stuff coming out of there, but yeah, you don't see like
what he's seeing that's making him sick. Right. You don't see the aftermath of these poor little children who were little shits, but Jesus, this is disproportionate because this person is no longer there. This is something different now.
Yeah, this is, I mean, they threw sand. Don't get me wrong, it's an asshole thing to do, but this is one of those times where like, I can't really root for the death here.
This is punishment disproportionate to crime. Even in this film, I can't justify it, but at the same time, this is someone who has been pushed beyond the brink and is no longer human.
This is a very sick person.
Right. This is now a very troubled human being.
Yeah.
I also, slasher movie that kills a shitload of kids. I love it.
Yeah. Ricky's heading into the social. He's getting some food. Then we cut to Ronnie gets a call about the kids, and he's trying to get counselors together, and then Mel grabs Ricky. Mel beats the living fuck out of Ricky, beating the ever-loving shit out of him.
You're made to believe that he beats him to death.
Yes. So we see Ronnie is getting counselors together. They're going to go searching for some kids that are missing. They have all the kids in their houses, but they're missing Paul, Ange, Judy, and Ricky. Mel gets done beating the shit out of Ricky, and he runs, and then he sees a person, he's at the archery range, holding an arrow, and he's like, it can't be you, and then he gets an arrow through the neck. Bye, Mel, you're a piece of shit, I'm glad you're fucking dead, I hope you die a ton more wherever you go in the next life. I hope it's just constant pain and death.
Wow. I mean,
I don't like Mel.
I don't disagree. Your righteous anger is, it's appealing to me, and I'd like to subscribe to your newsletter.
Welcome to my newsletter. If you're a shit person, when you die, I'm going to do all I can to make sure you go to another life that's nothing but pain and fucking suffering in the worst possible ways. You'll never get used to it.
Save it for your subscribers.
Always be pain.
Jesus. Move on.
So anyway, we see, then we cut to, the sheriff shows up, and then that's when they actually realize some kids are missing. The sheriff shows up, and they're like, holy shit, well, we better go looking for him. Paul is waiting by the water, and Ange shows up. She's acting real creepy-like, real fucking sus. Ange, you're acting real sus here, and she suggests to go skinny dipping. Any normal person who's rationally thinking would see that, Ange is being sus, but Paul's hormones have now taken over, and he can't tell who's being sus and who's not being sus. The cop is searching, and they find Ricky is all beaten up, but he's still alive. So that's a good thing. Ricky is alive, and that's the one person you want to still be alive, because he seems to be a fairly decent kid who, you wish good things for. Let's see. Then the cop hears screaming, and one of the counselors found Meg dead. And when the sheriff comes out of the bathroom after checking, he went in with a perfectly normal looking mustache. He came out with a perfectly fake mustache. That has to be brought up. That has to be talked about. That's a thing.
Yeah, that totally fucking happened. Yes, that's absolutely true.
It's a thing.
He went in there.
They shot this other stuff several months later when he had already shaved off the stash, so they had to do that.
Yep. And it's funny. They did it the one time they're going to have a close-up.
It's a thing.
It is a thing. Thank you. Ronnie and Susie, then they're looking for shit, and there he's singing. Then we see Ange with Paul's head just resting. They're kind of resting there. They're together. Just she's humming a nice little song. All seems normal-ish. And all that. His head's resting in her lap. This leads to a flashback, and that's our final clip.
You're going to enjoy living with us so much. Yes, I know you are. As a welcome home present, I bought you such wonderful new clothes. I just hope that Richard doesn't get jealous that I didn't get him anything. But then he is such a dear. I'm sure that he won't mind. You see, I've always wanted a little girl. But of course, when my husband left... Oh, well, that's all water under the bridge, as I always say. Water under the bridge. But it certainly will be a nice little surprise when Richard comes home to find a little girl in the house. Yes, I've always dreamed of a little girl just like you. I mean, we already have a boy, so another one simply would not do. Oh, no, absolutely not. A little girl would be so much nicer, don't you think so, Angela? Such a lovely name. Why, I believe it means angel. Why, yes, I'm sure it does. I know you're going to like that name. Won't you, Peter?
So it's the same actress delivering that dialogue and in that clip, and she no longer feels over the top. She feels horrifyingly not right when you revealed exactly how she's thinking. And then when you watch the movie again and see how she's acting at the opening sketch, her sus gets raised to a level of super creep.
She is now max sus, and we now see Peter/Angela hop up. Paul has been beheaded. She is naked. She is naked as the day is long. And she's swinging in the wind. With this fucking horrific, scary look on her. That
good reason for that. They took a cast of the actress's face.
A cast of her.
And that's
I actually
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You say.
I actually remember this. I remember I first saw this when I was in high school, and I was like, oh my god, that looks so horrific. It haunted my dreams like a lot.
Just because of the screamy look on the face for the mask.
Yeah.
Because it's so uncanny valley, but it still looks like an actual person. It was just so odd. The mask.
And I remember reading that the dude's body who's actually there, he's like, he didn't want his name associated or nothing. So he put the mask on, got naked, and that was it.
Also got drunk before he did it. This was an actual cast of the actress Felissa Rose, who played Angela's head and face, that they fashioned into a mask and made a wig that would match her hair. It actually looks, from the distance that they're doing, it looks enough to make you really think that's Angela's face, or that that's Felissa Rose's face. But it's clearly on a boy's body, and the fact that it's just not quite an actual live face when you're looking at it gives it this very uncanny, weird feeling that really is disturbing. It has nothing to do with the fact that, for me anyway, that Angela turns out to have been a boy the entire time, forced to be Angela, who was named Peter before this. And that's who I think the little boy in the dream was Peter accusing Angela of getting rid of him or whatever, something along those lines. We're almost there, but let's roll credits.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, he's breathing. The breathing also, like, and everything's freaky.
Almost hissing like an animal more than human at this point.
Yeah. Counselor Ronnie makes the really distinction that she's a boy, and roll credits.
All right, so my perspective here, what I was just describing, this is the reason that I've been thinking about the film this way. Until whoever Peter was as a child is able to assert themselves as to who they are now as a teenager, being forced to live as a person named Angela. Until that actually happens, this isn't necessarily transpanic. This is just someone who was a lifelong victim of abuse, who snaps and reveals their abuse in a way that is quite shocking and disturbing, being that they were forced to live as a girl when they were in fact identifying what it seems to be as a boy before this. Now, once we know who Peter, Angela, whoever they choose to be, or someone else in the future who they identify as, and then if they identify as a trans person and then say that they are a trans woman, then they are a woman. We accept this.
Yes.
That's how it's going to be. So,
yeah,
I feel like if you...
But this person didn't get to make that choice.
Right. So,
or to come to terms with who they're most comfortable as. This was something forced upon them by a mentally unfit person.
Right. Now, I would say that at the time that this film was made, the filmmakers may have intended to make this reveal be like a transpanic moment and, very, very exploitation. But I choose to not see it that way because when I'm viewing it, I'm seeing a victim of lifelong abuse from a very dissociatively diseased human being that was their aunt that forced a boy named Peter to live as a girl named Angela. And we don't get enough knowing about either character to really know who it is that they feel that they are, other than they are clearly terrified the entire time and panicked and look like they want to tell everybody and scream what's happening to them for some type of escape, and just constantly gets more abuse and neglect and fucking shame and hate poured on them to the point that they snap and turn into the monster that does the killing. Because these crimes are brutal. These crimes are disproportionate to what has happened to them, even though we like to watch them in a movie and enjoy that type of vengeance for fantasy and escape. This person, whoever they become from this point forward, is clearly a murderer and needs help because they are also a diseased mind because of the abuse.
Now, I have another question on this.
Yeah.
Do you think also they may have suffered some traumatic brain damage?
I believe so.
Because remember, they got their head wrapped pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
So they must have had some sort of head injury. So add in given an unstable person to live with, and then also maybe having some traumatic brain damage with that. Gonna fuck someone up.
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but when the FBI started studying serial killers, they noticed a pattern of things creating serial killers that is like a type of severe head trauma that did a specific type of damage to a certain area of the brain, even just a light damage early on in childhood development, which usually happens from abuse, can actually spark the propensity for a serial killer and amplify it more. Like it does something to your perspective or something along those lines. And they've noticed that there's a disproportionate amount of serial killers that had this specific type of head injury as well, to the point where they were actually using that as a point of, profiling and stuff like that later on. So the filmmakers, whether they intended to do that or not, the head being wrapped up was, possibly so that they could maybe use this same footage twice at the beginning where, Angela's coming to live and they got a pretty dress for her and everything like that. But her head is bandaged because she got hit. But it turns out, the entire time is Peter and he is being forced to live as Angela. And yes, he also had brain trauma. Heaped on top of that, the abuse of being forced to live as an identity that are not, and being told that you're going to be a different person or else. The head trauma, seeing your sister and father die in an accident, being witness to just previously before that, the person that was watching you being the lover of your father and not maybe understanding what's going on there because you maybe weren't ever explained it or exposed to it. That added confusion. Then throw in the burgeoning fact that you are now starting to go through puberty but aren't quite there, or at least don't look like it as far as a female goes, because physically your body is not there, even though you're forced mentally to be there. All of these pressures, all of this trauma, and then you add the fact that everybody's just shit to her. It's no wonder that Angela snapped and that Peter snapped and they became this killer.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a very tragic fucking story the more you think about it.
It is.
And it's such a good fucking film. I don't think it gets enough credit. I really don't. But I know people fucking love it, and I salute all of you that like it as much as I fucking do. I am way more impressed with this film watching it this time around and really trying to dig into it. Yeah.
I mean, enjoy it in a sense, because I find it, horrifically, just makes you feel bad.
It's a powerful and great film that you find nostalgic enjoyment for watching as a kid from too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something, it's
well, we don't have a lot of time, and we have been going through so many of these movies.
It bums me out so completely, though.
Well, I've got good news for you then. We're going to move into 2 and 3. They take more of a comedy horror side to things. They're a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. However, we're going to be saying goodbye to Miss Felissa Rose, who makes this film, while she doesn't talk or deliver a lot of lines, what she does with her eyes through the entire film and some of her facial expressions, although she's being forced to be blank, and some of her body language, she is quite talented. I think she did an excellent job, and I'm very impressed with her, but we're not going to see her for the rest of this series. We're just doing 1, 2, and 3 because 4 is way too fucking expensive, and I'm not buying it just to hate review it.
Oh my god, how much is 4?
It's only on like DVD, and I couldn't find it anywhere for like less than 70 or 80 bucks. I'm just not doing it.
Fuck yeah, who needs that shit in their lives?
But anyway, I love 1. It is my favorite of all the series.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
It was a great horror movie, a great kind of thriller too, not just straight up horror, but a great thriller.
Yes. Well, that is going to wrap up our long as fuck talk about Sleepaway Camp. We are never going to get this fucking show done if we take that long for the next 2.
Hey, Cort, listen, not for nothing, but I'm drawing Social Security now. So
right, yeah, I was like 12 years old when we started that review. Jesus fucking Christ.
Listen, that review was longer than 2020, and 2020 was the longest 30 years of my life.
Oh, that review was longer than these bullshit jokes that we're trying to tell to get the fuck into the next segment, and it's just taken forever. We're going to play a promo for another podcast. We'll have a little bit of music that is straight out of Sleepaway Camp 2. And when we come back, we will have the trailer.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension of not only a film and sound, but mind. A journey into an auditory movie review adventure that must be experienced to be believed. There's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Doomsday Clock. You can extract the Witch versus the Doomsday Clock podcast by either searching for WYCH on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn, and on your Android device. Witch versus the Doomsday Clock is a proud member of Legion Podcasts, so prepare yourself. The podcast ice is gonna break.
80s metal with like a million fucking solos to intro the song with fucking acoustic guitars or 12-string acoustic guitars just to sing songs about fucking pussy.
Hey, coming at ya.
Hot take!
All right. Hey, here's another song about getting pussy coming at ya.
That's right, it's Stryper talking about don't get pussy because it's time for Christ.
And after that, it's Mom's Undercarpet, talking about getting less than great pussy. All right.
But first of all, we gotta get the trailer from Sleepaway Camp 2.
There used to be this camp about 60 miles from here. Camp Arawak. All these kids started getting killed. Well, it ended up that the killer was the shy 14-year-old girl that everybody picked on. Except she wasn't...
Baby, you're supposed to be in the cabin. Let's go.
Wait, what happened to the killer?
Whatever happened to the good kids in the world?
Oh, don't talk like that, Uncle John. There's lots of good kids. We just have to weed out the bad.
Remember, ladies, nice girls don't have to show it off.
Who is Where's Phoebe?
I had to send her home. I found her doing things with the boys last night that she had no business doing. I know the rest of you are nice young ladies and you won't get into any trouble.
Let this be a lesson to you. Say no to drugs.
Camp Rolling Hills is the best. Oh, I'm a happy camper. I love the summer sun. I love the trees and forests. I'm always having fun.
I don't like being the wicked witch of the West.
Hey,
But I know what happens when things get out of control.
you're gonna tell. Oh, I'm a happy camper. I love the clear sky. And with the grace of God, I'll camp until I die.
Good night, campers.
Well, do we have to do a review after that? Jeez.
No, I mean, pretty much that was the whole movie. Congrats, everyone. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a bunch of stuff to talk about. Most of all, do you know who the main actress that plays Angela is now?
I mean, I read up on her. This is Bruce Springsteen's sister.
Right. Isn't that fucking crazy?
That's fucking hilarious. And now she's like a hefty fucking photographer in LA. Like, really is successful.
Yeah. I mean, it might help that her brother's like one of the biggest rock stars on the fucking planet to help you get gigs and stuff. But, you know, I'm sure she's also extremely talented because, I mean, you kind of would expect creativity to come from the same family. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like
talent.
You would hope.
Yeah. I mean, just because my sister got all the great, you know, looks in the family and skill and charm doesn't mean that I don't have my own talents.
Yeah, right? Just because my sister, you know, is intelligent and successful and, you know, and my parents' favorite.
Wait. No, we don't have time for your trauma. We got to do the review.
Right. Sorry about that, everyone. All right. Sleepaway Camp Part 2.
Unhappy campers.
The first 20 minutes, we opened and we had a campfire, much like we were listening to in the beginning trailer. Thank God I almost clipped that. Thank God I didn't, because it was right in the trailer.
Don't thank God. Thank your laziness, because you didn't want to go back.
Listen, you just let me thank who I want to thank, and you can thank who you thank.
I mean, when you thank God, what I'm hearing is my laziness, so it's fine.
Okay, that's true too. But wait, so if I do too many clips, that's laziness, and if I don't do enough clips, that's laziness.
I am who I am. I'm a judgmental prick.
I got you backed into a corner on this one. I got you in a box here.
No. If you do too many clips because you don't want to do all the writing, that's lazy because you don't feel like writing. If you continue to write because you don't feel like backing up the movie to do the clip and setting up the recorder just yet, then that's also lazy.
See, there's no win here.
Look, I want to denigrate you. That's your fucking job on this show. After 275 goddamn episodes, you should realize this.
It's true. So we open up at a campfire, and they're all telling scary stories, and there's only one girl with all the dudes. And she actually tells the story of part 1. Before, and then there's this little kid who's with all the bigger kids, and he's just mouthy as shit and wants to, he's trying to stumble and talk all over her story, saying he knows all about this. And you're just kind of like, hey kid, can you shut the fuck up for, I don't know, ever?
Also,
great.
what the fuck is he even fucking doing there at the fire with all these older kids?
No, yeah, right? Get him the fuck out of here. When did he get special privileges? I don't like this kid.
His name's probably Chad, isn't it?
Oh, it's got to be fucking Chad. If it's not Chad, then I don't know what the fuck's going on. But it's definitely fucking Chad. Or fucking Anthony, and you're like, hey, what's going on? And you want to maybe give him a nickname, hey Ant, and he's like, it's Anthony. You know, you do shit like that. So,
but he makes sure you have to pronounce it Anthony.
Actually, it's Anthony. The H is silent.
Yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Anthony.
That kind of
and
guy.
then it's really annoying.
Yeah.
All right. So Anyway, she finishes telling the story, and then another counselor comes up, a female counselor, saying she has to leave and go back to the girls' dorm. She's not supposed to be out there. Another guy says that the girl in the story went to a psych ward, and that she was actually a boy, and that she had a sex change, and then was released after being evaluated. As the girl's being led back by her counselor, they get an argument to which she says she'd rather go home and she wanted to leave. The counselor's name is Angela. So Angela goes one way, and the kid, she gets lost. And then she turns around and she gets hit in the head with a log, and then Angela cuts her fucking tongue out, and we go into our opening sequence.
That was brutal. The effects worked actually pretty well, and it wasn't until she tossed the tongue back down onto her face and it hit the ground that I was like, wait, that looks like a fucking piece of plastic. She was supposed to cut her throat with a piece of plastic, and then I'm like, oh no, it's her tongue.
Can I say this? It worked well for what the budget of this movie probably was, is what I'll say. So after the opening sequence, we're in the girls' cabin, and Anne wakes them all up, and, well, we see a lot of boobs in this. Thanks, movie.
Yes, thank you very much, movie. I would like to thank each boob individually, but we are pressed for time.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of time, so you just got to settle that down.
Yeah. The folks that took over in 2 and 3, it's a different filmmaker, and they wanted to take the series into a more comedic, toned parody of slasher film type.
And they definitely did that.
Yeah. And not only did they do that, they also did it in a way where I feel like they're talking down to their audience a little bit, where they're like, you're a dumb motherfucker, and this is the kind of stuff that you like. To which I snort a 6-foot line of this movie and go, you're fucking right, and fuck you for talking down to me.
Hey, you all right there, big guy?
Yeah, I'm good. I made the mistake of listening to some of the interviews and watching some of the interviews of the people behind the scenes making this, and I'm a little angry. I'm a little incensed.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, anyway, one girl is particularly topless the whole time and very proud of herself, and a lot of girls are staring at her boobs because I guess they're waiting for theirs to kick in.
Or maybe it's just because someone's walking around with their fucking tits out, and, you know, that makes everyone else uncomfortable and you can't help but look.
Listen, we're not talking about that time you got in trouble, all right? We're not going to talk about it again. Just settle it down.
Weird that you went that direction, but okay.
Yeah, I did. I had to. Fuck you. You do that to me all the time.
What is a mat for if not for throwing under a bus?
So Ange then tells the girls that she had to kick out Phoebe, the girl she just murdered, for doing things that she shouldn't be doing with boys. You know, fucking talking. Ange then tells the topless girl to go please wear a nightgown because, you know, she's like, I'm sure you're proud of your breasts, but you need to start wearing a nightgown.
That's not exactly how she phrased it. She said how lovely they actually were and that she's okay to be proud of them for that, but she shouldn't be displaying them, and nice girls don't show it off.
Yes, I was going to say she should be a good girl.
Yeah.
Outside this whole time, we see 2 little shits are taking photos because they're 2 little shits.
Yeah.
They'll probably end up voting Republican someday.
Or running for office on a platform of sneaking photos.
Look, those were 2 future Supreme Court judges, so just calm down, all right? Show some respect.
Yeah, no kidding. The way things are fucking going, they probably are going to both end up on the Supreme Court.
So later on, Ange and the camp owner, they're talking, and the camp owner's like, you know, I used to be able to tell people that this was where all the good kids in New York State would come. He goes, now I have no idea what's in there. Ange then has to tell him that she sent Phoebe home. He's a little taken back, but he's like, I trust your judgment. That's fine. And he goes, just, you know, next time, you know, let me know or something like that. Later on at breakfast, we have our first clip.
Morning, campers.
Hi, Allie. What, no breakfast?
Right, like I'm gonna eat that shit. The eggs are runny, but the oatmeal's okay. Oh, come on. The oatmeal looks as gross as the shit sisters.
The shit sisters?
Jody and Brooke Shote. Shote, shit, get it?
They look like they're stoned all the time.
They are. Not that getting stoned can't be fun. Just not all the time.
So, Molly, do you get stoned?
The cars. No. No?
Good girl.
Hey, did
did you hear what happened to Phoebes?
Yeah, tough breaks.
What's the big bad thing she did anyway?
Nothing, just sat and talked.
That's it?
At least when she was with us. God, I thought Anna was gonna kill her. How do you put up with that bitch?
She's not that bad. Oh, come on, Molly. You gotta admit, she's a little bit weird. Serious.
Good morning, campers. Let's start this lovely day with a lovely song from our lovely Angela Johnson. Before she does, let's all congratulate her for being Counselor of the Week.
She kicks out Phoebes and they make her Counselor of the Week?
Did you recognize the actress who plays Molly by any chance?
No.
That is Renee Estevez. Are you aware of the family tree of Estevez Sheen?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I totally forgot. Actually, my wife looked that up when we were watching the movie and told me that she is Martin Sheen's daughter.
Yes.
But kept their actual last name Estevez, where Martin and Charlie changed their last name. Emilio and her kept it.
Well, Martin, I believe, changed his last name so that he could get work easier in a very racially charged, awful Hollywood. And
yeah, they didn't change it because they thought Sheen was a better name. When Martin did it, it was because, of that kind of horseshit. And then Charlie, I think, did it just so,
I believe Charlie took Sheen as his last name because he knew that was going to be the easiest route because he could get nepotism roles.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying, yeah.
Whereas the only precedent for Estevez previously when you have to strike out on your own was Joe Estevez, which is Martin Sheen's brother, I believe, and the uncle of the other two Estevez brothers, and young Renee Estevez as well. Now, Renee and Emilio, I believe, kept their official names and their original names essentially to strike out on their own, I would guess. But when you see them all together, the family resemblance is startling, including Joe Estevez, which, like I said, I think he's their uncle. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I know they're related. That Martin and Joe Estevez are related. So that's the family tree as far as I remember it. And Renee Estevez had a few, I would say, minor roles, or like for instance, she was like a role of like an underage hooker in the original Lethal Weapon in the 87. And this is like the first, not really like her first starring role, because I don't remember when Intruder was released, but this and Intruder were like the two roles where she kind of starred in them. And she's had a varying career from there, obviously, but this was sort of pretty much her like first lead in a film that a lot of people would have seen. Because I think, she was in Intruder, which I think she's like the main character in Intruder. That was a Sam Raimi produced joint, but that was after this. So yeah, I just checked. That's definitely after this. So yeah, Sleepaway Camp 2 is pretty much her, I would think, probably her biggest role, or at least the one that I know her from first. And then Intruders, and then she showed up like in Heathers and stuff, but that's basically been her career arc, moving further along in these types of films. I would say that probably Renee Estevez would be most known for this film, though, because have you seen anything else that you were aware of her before this or after this?
No.
All right,
that's a hard no.
Then it's safe to assume most people would know Renee Estevez from Sleepaway Camp 2, or at least in our circles anyway.
And also, I cut it out, but Allie, the girl who likes to show her chest, also made an alluded that Ange was possibly a lesbian.
So we have homophobia right out of the gate, and then the story at the beginning
she used a word that you would not, I'm not comfortable with.
So. No, neither am I. Anything that is derisive and in some way, shape, or form considered homophobic as well, I'm not cool with, so.
Yeah. Well, after this, Marcy and the Allie, they both go up and they sing with Ange as Ange sings her song. So later on, TC, who's the head counselor of the place, he kind of hits on Ange and wants to discuss what happened with Phoebe later. And she says, okay. Well, Molly, she talks to Sean, and Sean's kind of like the head, one of the other guys there, and they are kind of sunbathing by a pool. And they talk about their home lives, and apparently Sean's dad is a cop, and apparently one of the cops who arrested Ange. But he talks about he says why he goes to camp, it's a shit life at home. Not because his dad, is a young guy. He goes, his dad's a good guy, but his mom kind of ran out on him when he was 7. So, it looks like Molly and Sean are going to be an item here.
Well, they have that fresh relationship thing, getting to know each other and really feigning like they care about each other when really they just want to get in each other's pants because they're 2 fucking teenagers without souls.
Okay. Well, let's just calm down now.
I just remember
so you're saying some people do have souls?
No. I just I remember how I was back then, and I believe
not everyone's you.
I believe Sean was a lot more like me than you want to admit.
Well, okay. Well, that's probably true. I was more talking about Molly, but yeah, you're definitely probably right about Sean.
No, I get the feeling that Molly actually is a good person. Yes. Yeah. But Sean is He's
definitely looking for some tail.
He's playing up his tragic past in such a way as to butter her up emotionally for a possible use later on to have her comfort him with sex.
Yes. So, this other douche kid, he's hitting on Allie. He keeps talking about how good he is at soccer and shit. I'm like, dude, really? Okay. So, then she tricks him into throwing her into the water while she's wearing a white t-shirt. So her, boobs would show through the white t-shirt. But
she even makes sure she takes off her fucking bikini top and then taunts him saying, don't you dare throw me in the water, so that he will.
Yeah. And then, but she comes out, but Sean and Molly are going to get something to drink. So sorry about your damn luck, Allie. Nothing happens there.
She basically was banking on the fact that if she shows this guy her tits, he will like her.
Yeah, more than Molly. Yeah.
Right. And what ended up being is
so maybe Sean ain't such a bad guy.
Well, he got a free show and then went, yeah, thanks. I'm going to keep trying on this girl. That's all it is. He's just going to focus in because he can gain even more points on Molly.
You really just don't like this guy.
No, I just am projecting what I would do in this situation.
You're projecting your own shit. I gotcha. Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
That's fine too. That's fucking fine.
Yeah, I would be like, okay, I'll file that for later and maybe I'll talk to her, but I'm going to keep working on this Molly girl for now.
If shit goes south with Molly, I'll go look at that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I gotcha. At this point, Ange is spying on the sisters who like to get high. By the way, let's go back to that kitchen scene where hey, getting high is fun sometimes, but not all the time. Then I got some bad news for you, Allie. You're not getting high right.
Yeah, if it's not fun every fucking time you do it, you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. You're like, oh, sometimes it's fun, but not all the time. Oh, no, it's fun all the time.
Yeah, when it stops being fun is when it just gets you to normal. That's when you're an addict, and you probably need to get help.
Exactly. And really, if it's pot, it's not really happening. So, slow your roll, Allie. Just slow your roll.
Yeah, if she's talking about
talking out your ass.
Yeah, if she's talking about getting high not being fun, she's definitely doing it wrong. Yeah, she's talking about marijuana.
Especially marijuana, because I understand other drugs, because sometimes you're just using that to get normal then, and that's bad. But marijuana, fuck it. You know what? She's dumb. Anyway.
Sounds like you smoke the reefer, Matt. How do you know all of this?
Oh, I read in books.
Oh,
I can read.
Fair enough. I am also a fan of Kerouac's writing.
I've watched YouTube once or twice.
I mean, I watched The Big Lebowski enough to know a thing or two about marijuana, Matt.
Yeah, same here. I've watched The Big Lebowski 5 times, so I know everything there is about marijuana. And so that's it.
All right, let's move on. We don't have time for this bullshit. Come on.
All right. So Ange is spying on those sisters, and they're totally getting high. And then we cut to the next morning, and Ange finds the sisters again. One's passed out, and the other's making out with a dude, and she chases the dude off. Anyway, it cuts away, and we see the passed out girl wakes up on a grill and stares directly at her sister's burnt skeleton, and then Ange throws lighter fluid on her and lights her on fire.
Yeah, these kills are super fucking brutal. Even though most of it is implied, they go ultra fucking violent because what they're trying to do is parody slasher films.
Yeah, and I think the actresses did a good job, like screaming and yelling and for bloody murder and shit. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you there as well.
It adds to her. If you're going to do implied murders, then the people have to almost overact sometimes about how scared they are.
Yeah, and like I was getting at, when they're doing the parody and stuff, I think what they're doing here is, oh, well, you like brutal kills in your slasher films? Well, here's your fucking brutal kill, you beast. And then again, I snort a giant fucking line of that shit and go, you're fucking right and fuck you.
How dare you know me so fucking well?
No, I don't care if you know me so well, but it's not like, hey, buddy, I know you dig this stuff. Come check this out. It's, you're a dumb motherfucker. Here's your bullshit.
Man, you are mad about those interviews.
Yes.
Anyway, and after that ends the first 20 minutes of this movie. So action-packed first 20 minutes.
Yeah, like 2 kills, even you get a kill even before the credits, and then you get a second kill before the 20-minute mark.
Technically, it's 3 kills.
Yeah. Okay, so you get a kill about every 10 minutes, but this one gives you an extra one.
Yeah, so good for them.
I mean, the setup just pretty much establishes everybody of who they're supposed to be. Molly's the sweet and innocent girl, and Angie really seems to like her, or Angela, although some people call her Angie in this. But Angela really likes Molly. She feels like she's a good girl and like she's a camper that needs to be taken care of and all of that. Yes. The other girls in the cabin are your typical teenagers of the 80s for the most part. And then you have 2 druggies and then one girl who is extremely comfortable with her body and is what I would probably refer to nowadays as sex positive.
Yeah, and we, as we all know, in horror movies, because they're horribly misogynistic, any woman who takes pride in her body and is confident sexually, well, they're not a good person. They have to die.
According to Slasher
According
code.
to Slasher, yeah.
Right. Now,
which is bad.
In this case, though, they didn't just make her sex positive. She is almost a predator where she wants to rack up the points. So it's almost flipping the script where normally when a guy would be acting like this, like the horn dog guy in one of these kinds of films, or even just in a, let alone camp or slasher film, instead of it being like a horn dog guy who also just may happen to be, attractive enough to really pull in the numbers to brag, if you will, they made it a horn dog girl. The difference is she's also petty and competitive and decided that she doesn't want other girls to have guys too. And she actively goes after guys that other girls are already interested in and that they're interested in other girls specifically just to cause problems. She almost has sex with people to hurt someone else in some way, shape, or form. It's real vindictive. And that's the problem I have with her character. Everything else about her, like where she's like totally fine with walking around naked and everything, I'm like, cool, I can dig that. But she's also a bad person besides that.
Yeah, I mean, she is not a good person.
No, but she's a shitty person.
She's not a good person because she is underhanded and has alternative motives and is backstabby, not because she's sexually confident and in her body and that kind of stuff.
No, it was just kind of nice to have that side of it, because you would see a character that would be the main bully jock dude who was acting like this and would sabotage relationships and would try and get girls that other guys were with in these kinds of films all the time. That kind of character is just like a fucking given usually, and I enjoy the fact that they kind of flipped it around a little bit and it's a girl in this because, well, maybe because our killer is also female in this.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, women power, man. So flip the script.
Yeah, so as much as I want to say some negative and hateful things here and there about this film, which I still do dearly love, I just feel betrayed after listening to those interviews, though. And I'm going to let it go after this, I promise.
All right. Well, we shot the next 20. A girl is complaining that she wants to go home, and she yells at Anne. So Anne organizes it, and the girl leaves. So actually, it's not even like for once he, kill her. She just went home. And also tells Uncle John about the sisters. And he tells her that she can't send any more home without talking to him or JC first.
Makes sense. I mean, who is a counselor just to say? You got to take the counselor to the people in charge.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're going to kill some of the kids, you should probably check with the authorities first, right?
Well, no, the sending home part. That's what she's pretending. Yeah. But yeah, you should always check with authorities before you murder people because they're the ones that can tell you whether or not it's okay.
So, that night, while the girls are getting ready for bed, the boys pull a panty raid.
And then that would be breaking and entering and felonious assault.
Yes. Yes. And then Ange walks in, and the boys go running, and the girls actually plan to get the boys back. So the girls run a jockstrap raid. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And they're all having fun there. TC walks out from his dorm room, and he's like, nah, wake me when it's over. And he goes back to bed. And then Ange walks in. Everyone's in trouble. So there's another girl who says she wants to go home. So Ange is driving her, and she's trying to convince her to stay and saying, just apologize and you can stay. Just apologize. And the girl says, I'd rather die than, go and say sorry to you, all that. So Ange reaches out in the back and gets a drill and drills her to death.
There's this whole thing where she says, what is that, a gun? And she says, no, it's a drill, and then drills her. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That was kind of corny, and then they just did a blood splash up on Pamela Springsteen because they don't have the money.
Yeah. The next day in the mess hall, the boys have a plan. They're going to get Ange back. And later on, Ange and Molly have a heart-to-heart in our next clip.
Molly, you want some company? How did you know I was up here? I followed you. Hope you don't mind. No, of course not. It's so pretty up here, isn't it? Yeah. Have you ever been in there? No, you can't. It's all boarded up. Oh. So you didn't come all the way up here for nothing. Is there something wrong? Well, does it have to do with you and Sean? Mm-hmm. He's a nice kid, even if he did talk back to me. You like him a lot, don't you? Mm-hmm. But Allie likes him too. Oh, don't worry about Allie. Sean's smart. He knows a good thing when he sees it. Yeah, but she's so popular. I mean, she's even a cheerleader. So? Well, guys like to go out with cheerleaders. I tried out for it, but I didn't make it. I guess I just didn't cheer loud enough. I'm so shy sometimes. I used to be shy. I'd never talk to anyone. You? Now you can't get me to shut up. It's more than that. Allie, she's more experienced. Which means that she probably has a disease or two. Angela! Well, in this day and age, you can't be too careful. And no matter what they say, boys like nice girls. I'm still a virgin. And I'm proud to be one. I feel so awkward. I don't know what to do. Well, there's a saying that my aunt taught me that's helped me through a lot of hard times. And it goes like this. Keep your morals strong and you'll never go wrong. Okay. I gotta get back. Have I been any help? Lots. Good. Give me a hug.
So when Angela isn't driven to kill you because you are ruining someone else's camping experience, which is usually hers, she's actually quite a good fucking camp counselor, isn't she?
Yeah, she gives some really great advice there.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit. It's just like, listen, she, yes, might be a serial killer and deranged all out the gourd, but that's some solid advice, and you have to give people credit when they give some solid advice, all right? Yes, she's a murderous psychopath, but that was damn fine advice for Molly. That was damn good advice.
I also like the way that they are bringing back some of the things that happened in the first movie with how Angela at the time, was super shy, which I still feel that it was all deal to being traumatized, but that's her way of spinning it to a more positive light for telling the story, and that now she's all open and everybody gets along with her and all of that kind of stuff. I really like this sequence, and I feel like this is probably the best acting we get out of both Pamela Springsteen and Renee Estevez in the film. I don't think we really reached this pinnacle again. They were both on this day, and it was shot really beautifully, and lit really well. I was really impressed with the filmmaking for this portion of the film.
Yes, I was too. The lighting part, especially. And this is something they did a lot. Like in the Sleepaway Camp 1, sometimes this works because it comes down to budget usually because they can't light at night as well, so they shoot a lot during the day. Like Sleepaway Camp 1 was almost all during the day until like the boat scene where the kid gets drowned, and then the very end when they're looking for her and find her. So I like these day shots. I like the lighting, especially when you're doing a woods type movie, because you get more of the environment.
Yeah, you're paying to be out there. You might as well film as much of the outdoors as you possibly can in all of your shots.
Especially during the day, because you can see it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and you don't have to fucking fire up 7 generators to power 2 giant lights in the 80s.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then say that's somehow moonlight.
Right.
The next day, they're having like a whole big thing at the main mess hall, like different stuff, like a fairs, almost like a craft and fairs type place. And one of them, be it like Ange's matting, where kids are putting their hand in the box, they're like, "What's that?" They're like, "Oh, it's Camp Kids Brains." And that fun game. Do you think there actual were brains in there?
With Angela's box, yes.
Yeah, me too.
She said teenagers' brains. It totally was, because when someone asks her, she says teenagers' brains.
Yeah, exactly. My wife was like, "Oh, do you think then that's actually kids' brains?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, probably."
That's Angela's sense of humor, absolutely. I believe the term you were looking for was it's a bazaar, where it's like a bunch of different stuff, including like an arts and crafts fair and stuff. I think that's what they refer to them as, but I don't fucking socialize, so I could be wrong.
Oh, fuck. Who does anymore?
Well, I meant before all of this happened, Matt.
I gotcha.
This is peak Cort time. This is we don't go out time. I was built for this, man.
This is the fuzzy fuzz time.
Yes.
The boys are all working on Scary Mass. So then we get these 2 little kids are checking out their perv pics that they've been taking, and Ange catches them and takes the photos, so they know they're fucked. Then Ange shows TC the photos, who says that he will handle it. Then he warns Ange about that the kids are going to somehow scare her, and she says she'll handle it.
And if you pay attention when they're doing the teenagers' brains bit, when they pan over to those guys at the table making their very obviously Jason and Freddy outfits, Angela actually looks over when they say her name and said some shit about her. They actually do show that in the background. You can see it.
Yeah, my wife pointed that out. They're like, she's right there. I mean, what are you doing?
But what you're about to describe with TC is still, he does the right thing.
Yeah. So then we see one of the shitheads. He's dressing up as Freddy, and he's actually got a claw hand. Then we cut to the girls hanging around the campfire, just kind of talking, having fun. Then the 2 kids, one dressed as Freddy, one as Jason, they're walking, and Freddy loses his glove, so he's crawling around the ground looking for it. Then it pops up, and it slits his throat. Then the Jason kid, he comes back from taking a piss looking for his buddy, and Ange just dressed his Leatherface with, I think Phoebe's face. I'm not sure, though.
I think it was that kid that she just killed, right? Oh, no, he still has his face on. It's somebody's face.
Yeah, I think it was Phoebe's, if I had to guess. So, anyway.
Probably, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, so then she uses a chainsaw, cuts him on his leg, and then just kills him, wallops him. Then Ange walks up in the group dressed as Leatherface and scares the girls, and they all laugh, and then she's like, "I got those boys, too," and they're all laughing, and they think Ange is pretty cool right now. Well, then Ange is asking, "Where's Allie?" And they're like, the other 2 girls are like, "She's in the bathroom. Apparently she had bad cramps." But Ange is suspicious because she had bad cramps last night.
No, last week.
There, and we see Allie and another kid. Oh, yeah, last week. I'm sorry. We see Ange and another kid having the worst type of sex ever in a bathroom. They're slamming each other. I mean, they are clumsy as fuck. Number 1. And I don't know what that kid thought he was going down on, but apparently it was her belly button. I guess her G-spot is now, and I guess her clitoris is in the belly button.
Wrong answer. He is, in fact, Gene Simmons before becoming Gene Simmons.
I see. So he's just up there and he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, this tongue goes down to his own navel, so he's good.
Yeah. And sneaks up and she tries to open the door. It's locked, so she knocks. Allie gets dressed, saying she has cramps, and she comes out and they both leave without getting busted. And that ends that 20 minutes.
All right. There was a thing that TC does where he comes up to warn to Angela that we were talking about.
Yeah.
That's where TC kind of does the right thing. And he's like, look, I don't, but he's like, I don't want them.
TC's not a bad guy. He's a regular camp counselor who's like, all right, sometimes kids are going to get rambunctious. They're going to break some rules. I mean, this isn't a prison camp. It's just a regular camp. Ange is just very much more, it has to be Norman Rockwell 1950s camp. And that's just not how this goes.
There was a brief moment in Angela's life at the first camp in Sleepaway Camp where she actually was happy. And there was an experience where she could forget about everything else. And she's fixated on that moment because it got ruined and it turned her into the murdering monster that she is. And now that that moment is completely gone, she's dead set on trying to make it happen again. She wants to have a friend who just accepts her for who she is, that will have fun and they can camp and sing songs and all that stuff. And
it's
unless
that dopamine fix, man, it's like a drug.
Right. So unless you are the perfect camper, always looking to do everything, and follow the rules and wholesome and all of that kind of stuff, which is, like you said, the Norman Rockwell style, because it's a delusion that's making Angela feel like everything's going to be okay when nothing will ever be okay for Angela again.
Angela's just messed for her entire life now.
Which is why she keeps repeating this same behavior, even though she had all those years of therapy and all of that other kind of stuff that we're about to hear about. That's why this is happening, is because she was happy for just one brief moment and she's always chasing that again.
I've never known, this is where the movie loses me too. I've never known anybody to go on a multi-person killing spree and ever get out, no matter how much therapy they get, and no matter how old they were. Typically, they, even if they don't go to jail, they have to stay in forever. Like therapy in a hospital.
I feel personally attacked.
You didn't kill numerous people when you were a kid.
Well, no, my records were expunged.
Jesus Christ. I was trying to give you a chance to, get out of that, but fuck, all right, fine. Let everyone know your business.
Oh, wait,
see what I care.
What?
Huh? Yeah.
Hang on. Hold on.
Yeah.
God damn it. All right.
You didn't listen to your lawyer, did you? You have 15 of them, and you didn't listen.
That was a joke made to insinuate something that is absolutely not true, because it was to shock Matt for a laugh for the audience, and it's satire. All right, I guess that's what we're going with, so continue.
Is that what we're doing with our lives right now? Satire?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Fine, cool story, bro.
I just can't talk about my fucking childhood at all, it looks like.
No, you really can't. I mean, fucking, you know what? Killing people's not really all that unbelievable. You went to camp? I'm just fucking amazed. Thinking you outside is fucking unbelievable.
We're getting loopy as shit.
All right, so start of the next 20 minutes. TC is looking around for the two boys who were murdered by Ange the night before. Allie tells Molly that they kind of run in, and Molly's like, "Hey, Allie, how's it going?" Because she thinks they're friends, and Allie's like, "Hey, listen," she says she doesn't like her, that her and Sean will be perfect with one another because Sean's a bad lay, and you can have him, and she's pissed, and just to stay out of her way. And it was like, you kind of came up to talk to her, not for nothing. Maybe you should just not be like a fucking bitch constantly.
I think Allie has some kind of an issue where she is somehow jealous of the sweet and innocent life that Molly is living. Like, because Molly just seems like everything's okay and she's happy. It's like some kind of privilege bubble that Molly lives in, and Allie is just going to attack her for that. And so she sees Allie happy, she has to get on her case, which is going to trigger Angela, because that's exactly what was happening in the first movie with Judy.
Yeah. Well, and something tells me also that Allie girl is one of those girls who's like, I don't really have girlfriends. I only have, guy friends, because I just don't get along with girls. And it's like, yeah, because typically when I hear someone say that, means you just want every male-focused attention on you, and any other female in a group pisses you off. Or you only see females as competition and not as friends, which is bad.
I could totally see that as well, but Allie doesn't get like that with a lot of the other girls. She just basically tries to see if she can steal their dudes because that's fun for her. She specifically fixates on Molly, so I think there's something about Molly that makes her mad, and I'm just guessing it's, the happy little privilege bubble she lives in, and Allie's had a rough life and wants to make her just as miserable as her.
Yeah, it sounds like, all that shit.
I mean, it could be both.
Could be all of it.
Yeah,
maybe
both.
all of it.
Yeah.
Dude, Allie's just a bad person, and she's about ready to. No, she's fixing to have some horrible shit. So literally,
and figuratively,
yeah. So anyway, Molly's kind of crying about that, and Ange checks in with her, and Molly tells Ange all about what Allie was saying. So Allie is out fucking a dude, and they get done, and she doesn't while they had sex, she doesn't seem happy about it, because it's almost like Allie's also looking for a hole to fill. No pun intended.
Although that's literally what she's also looking for.
Yeah, and she's just she just does not seem like a happy person. So anyway, she goes back to her cabin, finds a note from Sean to meet her up. She goes there, and she goes up to that cabin that's where Ange was. Where, if you haven't really thought of it by now, Ange is hiding the bodies there. Come on. So
spoiler alert.
Yeah, right. Well, Ange is there, and she stabs her in the back a couple of times, and then throws her in an outhouse, then shoves her into the toilet, saying, like, hey, what's in there? And she's like, shit, what else? Piss. She goes, you want else? Leeches. And then she keeps shoving her in there and drowns her in shit, piss, and leeches. So.
Well, she has her look in there, and she's like trying to teach her an object lesson while murdering her, which it seems counterintuitive. Like, if you're trying to better a person, why are you also murdering them? Just fucking murder her, which is like a unique thing to this slasher franchise. But I love where she's like, that's right, it's shit because you've been a shitty person to everyone around you, or something like that, and a shitty friend to all the people that care about you. And then
exactly.
When she points out the piss, she says something along the lines of, you pissed away your good looks and your talent for, I don't know, easy attention or some shit. I can't remember what it was, but she does say she pissed away her life or something.
Yep. Well, anyway, later on, the kid who Allie was banging, he walks up to Sean and Molly, and that is our next clip.
Hey, have you guys seen Allie?
No.
And she had really bad cramps last night. I think she's still sick.
She didn't have cramps. Yeah? How would you know? Rob, you gotta stay away from her. She is bad news.
I'm gonna get a soda. Do you guys want anything?
No. Wait. You wanna play? Sure.
Hey, you wanna hear something weird?
Yeah, what's that?
I keep thinking about that camp. You know where all the kids got killed?
Oh, come on, Rob. Allie's not dead. She's probably out screwing the cook.
Yeah, but what about Judd and Anthony?
I don't know. They're on a beer run or something. Allie's probably with them. Don't worry about it. You know something? I almost went to Camp Arawak to hear all those kids got killed, but my daddy couldn't afford it.
Oh, man, you're lucky.
What are you telling me? I can't remember the name the killer went by as a girl, but I think she went by Peter Baker. Yeah, everyone called him the Angel of Death because he said he only killed bad people. So tell me, how bad is Allie?
Pretty bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but good times. Man, these kids are fucked up. So, but anyway, one of the girls, she, from the cabin, she was bored and she wanted to call one of the girls who was sent home, who was her friend. But when she called, the mom was like, I haven't seen her or heard from her. And apparently the mom didn't really care to see or hear from her, and she didn't want to cause any trouble, so she didn't say anything else. But then she started calling all the other girls' parents. And from everything you're saying, as the girl's talking, and as this girl's talking, Ange is secretly trying to find something to kill her with. It's very comedic. And the girl just keeps talking, and it's like, but none of the parents seem to really care that these girls aren't coming home or aren't home right now. They're very happy they're not home. So it tells
one of them even wished that their daughter
life.
would run away. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, then Ange tells her, you talk too much, and strangles her with a guitar cord.
Which she could have she could have just fucking done that shit with the coat hanger and saved herself a guitar string.
Yeah, exactly. Then Ange walks out and she sees the two boys who've been taking nude pictures dump water on her. So then she goes back inside. She's trying to get rid of the body, and another girl walks in who's constantly all movie has been telling people she's going to tell on people. She walks in and Ange sees and she says, "You're going to tell." Haha. And kills her. So then, let's see here. Molly and Sean, they are making out, and then, they get done, and Molly goes to her cabin, and all the beds are empty, and Ange says that she has sent everyone home. That night, Ange has a weird psychedelic nightmare about her being counselor of the week, singing songs, and about all the murders. I don't know if there's some internal conflict there or what, but something's going on.
That was a pretty interesting sequence. I like the way that they did it, where they were slowing things down and speeding them up and screwing with the picture. I really enjoyed the dream sequence. I usually feel like that's just padding, but it also fits because in the original film, we had that little sequence where we learn more about Angela's inner person with the little boy sitting on the bed pointing at the little girl, which could be indicative of Peter being accusatory of Angela or something along those lines like we talked about. And then this is more or less like a guilt dream where Angela feels bad about ruining camp herself by doing all of this stuff,
Maybe she's like, shit, because two of the girls, the one who just was calling girls and the girl who walked in on her, neither one of them did anything bad to ruin camp. So Ange is like, well, I just ruined camp for them. That's when the nightmares start for her, unlike all the other people she killed. So
yeah, that's exactly how I looked at it. It was like, there's guilt for these two deaths, but she had to do it. She just feels bad about it. And that's
busted.
That's why she's having nightmares, because she has ruined camp for somebody else, and now she's the bad guy.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know if the filmmakers looked at it that way or they just wanted to add a dream sequence, but that's how I took it.
Yeah, there you go. The next day, TC and the uncle, Uncle John, they fire Ange for sending too many kids home and not checking in with them. Not knowing that she murdered them, but So then Ange tells Molly as she walks out that she was fired, and she seems pretty despondent about it. Molly then grabs Sean, and they go to the abandoned cabin to check on Ange, and that is our final clip.
Hi. How you doing? Uncle John makes me counselor of the week just 4 days ago. And now he fires me?
Maybe we could talk to him.
No. It's over. Besides, TC had just as much to do with it, and TC hates me.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. We never got along well. He reminds me of this boy that I knew when I was about your age. He didn't like me very much either. But I fixed him.
How?
I drowned him.
So, go to hell. And at this point, we're coming on into the final 20 minutes now. Sean, he gets into the abandoned cabin, and he and Molly find all the dead bodies. Ange knocks Sean out and then restrains Molly. TC decides he's going to go out looking for the kids. And Ange has the two restrained. They're both alive, and they're good kids. She doesn't want to kill either one of them. TC enters the cabin, and Ange throws acid in his face from his own battery that she took. It's killing him. That was a pretty cool concept to kill him.
Yeah, the melt
battery acid in the face.
The melt effect was one of the more expensive effects, and I can see what they basically did here. They spent the money on the effects on stuff that they would need to always be there, and that was having all the dead bodies around for this final sequence. Yeah. And so the effects were set for them to be like background, but they used them on like their hero deaths or what have you, and then they just reuse them. So they're set as background. You can tell some of them are different, some of them are a little nicer done. But when they cut to the effects that are all these dead bodies in the cabin, when they cut to each individual one, they're all pretty impressive on their own when they're framed right. And I think it was worth the time that they spent to make all of them for the amount of time we're going to spend in here.
Yeah. I thought the effects in that room with the bodies and stuff, I'm with you. That was really cool. Really cool, like almost like haunted house vibe, really, really cool. So Sean realizes who Ange is and goes through the whole story. And keeps saying that his dad, will get him, all this kind of stuff. And so Ange has enough and just cuts off his head. Ange wants Molly to eat. And then she's like, well, if you won't eat, okay. And she she says she's going to go take care of the rest of the camp. And Molly's working on getting loose. Then we see Anne dragging another dead kid, so she killed somebody else. And Molly gets loose and knocks Ange out. Ange wakes up. We have some chase scene there. Ange catches up and they fight. Molly actually stabs Ange in the leg. There's more chasing, all this stuff. And then Molly, she's getting on a ledge and falls off. And it's not a steep ledge, but she falls and appears to hit her head on a rock. And Ange thinks she's dead. And Ange is very sad about that. So we see one counselor. She's going around and she finds those two kids. They look like they're peeking in the window. She grabs them. They're actually nailed to the wall and they're dead.
Great fucking reveal. That was really fucking cool.
That was cool. And then she goes around and everyone's dead. Every other counselor's. Uncle John's dead. His hand's cut off when he's trying to call somebody. Everyone's dead. And then Ange appears in front of her and stabs and kills her as well. Everyone's dead. And then we see Molly is alive and she's waking up. Ange is leaving the camp. She gets a ride from a lady. And now, my wife brought this up. In Friday the 13th, Part 5, The New Beginning, the crazy lady and her son, is this the same lady?
I don't know.
My wife brought it up because she's like, it sounds just like her. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. Anyway, the lady's going about, hey, everyone has a vice, blah, blah, blah. Just seems like a nice lady who gave Ange a ride, and Ange, fucking kills her anyway. Then we see Molly walking down the road, and we see that truck pull up. Molly's like, oh, she runs. And she goes, can I get a ride? And then we see Ange in the cowboy hat. She goes, howdy, partner. And Molly screams, roll credits.
So the ending of the film, because we spend so much fucking time in that cabin, really starts to feel a bit drawn out. But what they were really trying to do was like a kidnapping siege type thing. And it kind of predates a little bit of the whole like torture film craze that we had in the early 2000s. But it felt like that because like Angela was purposely getting up in their business and trying to make them feel awful and rotten, which, a serial killer kind of does. They get their jollies off by hurting people, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah, but it's like, but Ange has some weird moral code still, wants the good kids to live.
Yeah, it's a really weird, uneven, strange tone film. But the wacky, zany comedy stuff in this, and the fact that everything is just kind of a little off or over the top and like basically cranked up to be parody because they're trying to make fun of these kinds of films, they end up just making a really fucking good one. Like,
yeah, they make a really fun horror flick.
Yeah.
So if they were trying to like make fun of horror flicks, you fucking went dead wrong, man. You made just a good horror flick. Good job.
Right. I mean, it is corny. It is cheeseball. And I thought it was supposed to be funny in that, like, where it's a tongue-in-cheek, let's all just have a good time. But
yeah,
no, it's more like these are dumb movies and this is supposed to be dumb funny. This is like, I guess, supposed to be a parody to the point where it would be like what they did with Scary Movie, the parody series. That's what I think they were trying for, but they ended up just making a good horror film that's a little corny.
I think so, yeah. Just a little corny, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, I still have a total blast fucking watching this. I dig Renee Estevez's character as Molly. I really enjoy her. She does a great job of playing doe-eyed and innocent and scared. But when it comes time to fight for her life, she does, somehow get the strength and does what she needs to do to sort of be a final girl. But I also love that the Sleepaway Camp series, Angela always kind of wins from here on out and just gets away. And it's like this, she's a fugitive from justice now is what they're gonna go with.
And
And
somehow she just keeps getting away.
yeah. Now, in the first movie, and they describe it here in the second movie as well, but she did get taken in. She went through like several years of treatment for psychiatric care and things like that. Got the gender reassignment surgery, as we were talking about, and Jace just basically was able to, what I always assumed was just live as Angela. And so I'm wondering if in the first movie, she wasn't sure who she was. And then by the second movie, she's already sure who she is. Is this just basically a third personality killer like I was talking about, do you think, now that crops up? Because occasionally Angela just wants to have a good time and be Angela, like those moments with Molly. So at this point, is there like a killer personality that just takes over that's different? Or is Angela the killer personality just being triggered and this is all one person?
It's all one person now, and it's just Angela gets triggered. And now it's just Angela has created her own code. And that code very much is, if you're camping and you're good and you just enjoy camping for what it is, congrats, you live. If you do shit that I deem to be immoral, you're fucked.
At least in this one, yeah. I do believe that towards the end of it, she just goes fucking crazy mad and wants to kill everybody anyway, just because all like we talked about, she ruined her own camping experience. So now everyone has to die, and then she's just going to try and reset. Like that's what we get to Sleepaway Camp 3, which is, well, it's fucking crazy. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but that logic is really not right.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's a fun fucking movie. It's an easy 80 minutes, and I had a blast. And did you notice that some of that 80 minutes is like 3 to 4 minutes worth of credits?
Yes.
So it's like 76
especially
minutes.
The opening sequence. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets even less coming up here now.
All right, then let's just move along, and we'll play another promo for another podcast. We'll have a little bit more music I yanked right out of Sleepaway Camp 3, and when we come back, we will have the trailer for Sleepaway Camp 3.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. And while Witch didn't make it to the top of the world, he did make the Gangs of Hollywood podcast. So join the gang and enjoy a movie review podcast about movie gangs, gangsters, mobsters, and the mayhem they cause. You can find GOH Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at GOH Pod at www.gohpod.com, as well as your favorite podcast listening app. And remember, say hello to your little friend for me.
So that is the theme for Sleepaway Camp 3.
It's a good theme.
I was having fun with it. I mean...
Yeah, man. Not as good as Dream Warriors, but it's fine. It's fine.
Nothing is, including this trailer.
I know that in the next 3 days we'll get to know each other much better. When we all get together again, I promise it won't be the same.
Angela's back to slash last year's record. Last year's Camp Carnage was so much fun that Angela has decided to return for another season.
Whatever happened to Angela Baker?
Nobody knows. When did you learn to chop wood like that?
I've never chopped wood before, but I've chopped other things.
Those immoral young campers. When will they ever learn?
Nobody wants to go to a camp where everyone's been slaughtered. What's your favorite, color?
Blood red.
How many have you killed this time?
Lots.
Kill me too? Well, how are you gonna do it? What's it gonna be?
A gun. Seems like every time I go to camp, somebody loses their head.
This year, camp's a real killer. Angela is seeing to that. Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland.
Party all night! Teenage Wasteland!
And they use the clip in the film.
Miss trying to get Teenage Wasteland by Zeppelin, right, though?
You're wrong on multiple levels.
Or The Who. The Who, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it's Baba O'Reilly. Its song is not called Teenage Wasteland.
Yeah, I still could have gotten it, though. It's in the song.
Yes, they could have gotten the song Baba O'Reilly that features the lyric Teenage Wasteland over and over again. But The Who are really goddamned expensive, as I'm sure CBS will tell you.
Yeah, right. I mean, how much more money do you think they've made just for CSI?
A lot more.
Like, a lot.
Like a lot, yeah.
A ton more. So, anyway, Sleepaway Camp 3, we open up the first 20 minutes. A girl wakes up and she's getting ready to leave for camp. She's playing her music. People are all pissed off about how loud it is, and her parents are. And sure, her boobies are out. So
hooray.
Anyway, she goes out, she's getting ready, and this big dump truck comes out of nowhere and runs her down in an alleyway, and we see it's Angela dressed just like her, same hair as this girl. So Angela found some way to start investigating shit and figuring, out who's going to camp, apparently.
I mean, it's a camp in the same place that she's supposedly hanging around these various woods and destroying camps everywhere. This is an opportunity that she had because I'm sure the people that run this new camp had the roles of people that they were going to get. So she just found the addresses and stuff. Maybe there was a photo for their applications and she found a person she could look the closest like and did that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a stretch, but, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, she got a fucking garbage truck and ran the bitch over with her.
Yeah, and then throws the girl in the garbage truck, closes it, grabs her stuff, and then there you go. We cut to the camp and a news report, and that's our first clip.
We're here at Camp New Horizons, where an autumn retreat called an Experiment in Sharing is about to begin. Let's meet the owners of the camp, Herman and Lily Miranda. Herman, tell us about this wonderfully unique experiment.
Well, Tawny, we brung together two specially selected groups from all over America. The first group is from the higher class establishments, and the other is from lower class homes.
Lily, what are you trying to accomplish?
In our own little way, we'd like to promote sharing, love, harmony, and peace, and a better understanding between the rich and the poor. Thank you.
And thank you. Let's meet the kids.
Hello, my name is Cindy Hammersmith from Dunwoody, Georgia.
Thank you, Cindy.
Greg Nakashima, Westwood, California.
Okay, Greg, move it along.
John Hernandez, Palmview, Arizona.
Peter Doyle, Houston Heights, Texas.
Thank you, Peter.
Bobby Stark, Western Springs, Illinois, home of the Western Springs Wildcats.
Hi, Marsha Holland, Defiance, Ohio.
Well, let's see who we have in our second group of kids. Excuse me, your name, please?
Arab, San Francisco.
Do you have a last name, Arab?
No. Do I need one?
Right. You?
I'm Snowboy, of Chicago.
Anita Bertram, Sawtell Gap, Kentucky.
Rev, Detroit. Tony De Herrera, East LA.
Maria Nicastro.
Where are you from, Maria?
All over. Right now, New York.
Why don't you take your glasses off so your parents can see your pretty face? Well, what interesting kids.
Yeah, so we get a rundown here of the camp and what it's all about. After this, the news reporter grabs Ange and says she needs some Coke. Ange says she'll get her some here, and she goes into the into the main mess hall, grabs some Ajax, puts it in a little baggie, and gives it to her. The reporter drives away and then decides, you know what, fuck, I can't make the rest of this trip without a hit. So she pulls over, takes a hit, bleeds out her nose, and fucking dies, because, it's fucking Ajax.
Did you think that she did that because the reporter might have recognized her, or do you think she did that just because the reporter assumed she would want to do drugs just because of her name?
I think she did that to stop the reporter from finishing her report. Yeah, because she was all concerned about her face being on TV.
So it was a way to stop the camp piece from going out because of the fact that her face would have been on TV. This was just the easiest way for her to do it.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yep. Then we had a dude, he lights off some firecrackers right at Angie's feet, and that pisses her off, and he's an annoying prick. Now it's orientation time, and all the kids meet, and the weird old dude founder, he's a total perv, and he keeps showing this Playboy bunny belt buckle to a girl.
Which she's automatically charmed by, and she's showing him her boobs.
Yeah, but it still doesn't make him any less creepy.
No, we don't need to see Herman from goddamned fucking Scrooge who froze to death, hitting on a teenage girl and getting all greasy on her. We don't need to see this.
It makes me feel bad about a lot of things right now.
Yeah, like I liked Herman. I don't need to see Herman sleazing on some chick.
Yeah, exactly. No fucking thank you.
Yeah.
So, a third counselor shows up, and he's actually a cop. And then right as he shows up, a fight breaks out between two of the kids, and he breaks it up. In the girls' cabin, they're all getting their shirts on for the camp, and a lot of boobs are out. So, thanks.
Yes.
Angie's takes her shirt off, and her bra is kind of like a bulletproof vest. So Ange is not comfortable with her body.
Maybe that is more comfortable for her.
Maybe, but I'm just saying. But I'm telling you right now, a bullet won't get out of there.
Maybe.
Yeah. She could probably get stabbed a few times and be fine if she's wearing that, I think.
All right, move on. Enough talk about her fucking draconian bra.
Let's see here. We, then when they're looking through the cabin, they see someone had spray painted "fuck Angela Baker" in there. So that was kind of weird.
Yes.
But not really, because it's the camp, and they're all kind of like, holy shit, what the hell happened here? Yeah, and so, let's see here. The girls talk about how the government paid the camp to take the troubled kids, while the parents paid a lot of money for the rich kids to go. So that's how all the money gets there. And then they talk shit about Angela Baker, because, you know, they're like, fuck her, she's the reason we're here. The kids are then all sorted in between the three counselors. So there's like 3 teams, 3 camps. And that ends the first 20 minutes. So not a lot. 2 deaths.
Yeah, this whole opening sequence is just a bunch of shitty kids being fucking shitty, whether they're privileged and they're looking down on someone else because they're not born in the same country, or maybe are immigrants from another country, like we had happen with the lady from Georgia. They're mostly stereotypes. The inner city kid is into rap because, of course, you know, and he thinks it's amazing shit.
And the rich chick from Georgia is incredibly racist.
Right.
She says racist shit all the fucking time.
Have you ever seen the cornball comedy from the 80s called Fast Food, Matt?
I think I may have, but it's been a long time.
Jim Varney runs a chain of restaurants and wants to take over this plot of a gas station that's right next to a college. The people who own the gas station, oddly enough, Michael J. Pollard, I think, is in that one too. The guy who's all sleazy and played Herman. In this movie, he's all sleazy and he played Herman in Scrooge. But so anyway, Jim Varney wants to take over the location. They turn a gas station into a fast food joint with a secret sauce that is basically Spanish fly mixed into it, so everybody gets super horny when they eat it and they want to fuck.
Yes, now I remember this. Yeah.
Okay. The lady who runs the gas station was actually in this film. She plays Marcia. It's the same actress in both films. And I'm pretty sure Michael J. Pollard was in both films as well. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a long time since I've seen Fast Food, but there we go. I'm the only person in the world who gives a fuck about that movie, apparently.
No, man, I enjoy it.
Yeah, thanks for playing along, I guess. Let's move on.
I now remember it, because I remember, like, the main character dude had to try to stay off of sex. That's why he went to go work at a fast food joint, right?
Yeah, I think we're thinking
something like that.
You're thinking Hot Dog the movie, I think.
Am I?
Yeah.
Jesus. A lot of fast food movies where, people are all boning.
A lot of 80s movies where people are all boning because that's what sells.
Yeah. Sex sells, Cort. Sex sells. So anyway, And it started the next 20 minutes. The cops group, they set up camp, and the cops like, hey, instead of doing fish, tonight we're going to have hot dogs. And Tony starts giving him shit about how cops can break the rules and all that. And they kind of have a standoff, and he's like, hey, do you have a kid? And the cop's like, yeah, my son Sean. We're like, oh, there's your drawback. He was killed a year ago. He would have been 18 this year, and he was killed. And then Tony kind of, he's not a bad kid, so he's kind of like, I'm sorry about that. Didn't mean to give you shit.
I like the continuity that they're doing here. They say that he was the cop that arrested the Angela character in the first film, and now his son is in the second film at camp and ends up getting killed by Angela. And now the father's back because he's worried Angela might come back again because there's a camp here.
Yeah, it's a nice little string of stuff going on.
Well, you got yourself an Ahab, basically.
Yeah, and he's going after his whale.
Well, that's how Ahab is from Behind the Mask. What everybody else calls a Loomis, they say Ahab.
Are they? Oh, yeah, an Ahab.
Yeah, but what I've always referred to as a Loomis is same thing.
It's not a Loomis. Yeah, yep. All right, so back at Angie's camp where she's at, she's with the old pervy dude. Ange, Snowboy, and Peter go to fish. Peter lights a firecracker in a fish and blows it up, and Angela runs off, grossed out. Herman and the other chick, well, they start getting down in the tent, and Ange shows up. Herman gets out to try to explain himself, and Ange starts beating him with a stick. Beating him until he falls down, and then she stabs him in the mouth with the stick.
Yeah, there's some real violent stick death in this film. Very resourceful Angela, just killing people with whatever she finds.
Yes. And then she beats the girl to death. So then we, back at camp, Snowboy and Peter, are just being dicks. It's later on. They're just being total douchebags. And we cut back to the cops camp. And Tony walks Marcia to the bathroom and they get scared by a raccoon. It's just something to build a relationship between Marcia and Tony. That night, Angela sets off firecrackers in Peter's nose. They're all sleeping. And she puts a firecracker in Peter's nose. He keeps lighting off the firecrackers, blows up his face. Snowboy freaks out, and she hits him with a log, throws him into a tent, one of the tents, and lights it on fire with him in it, roasting him alive. And then she roasts marshmallows.
She hits him with a log to knock him out, and then she hits him again, and then she basically like cripples him. You hear a crunch, and then drags him over there. So he's crippled. He can't run or just crawl out of the tent, and then she burns them all alive.
Yep.
Well, some of them alive, some of them still dead. But the screams are really well done in this. It was pretty horrific.
Yeah, right? Holy shit. I just loved when she was just roasting marshmallows. Like, this is good fun.
That was fucked up, but I thought it was funny too.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Because she's trying to have that camp experience she keeps longing for that made her feel safe and normal. So maybe roasted marshmallows will do it.
It's just that she chooses to do so over a corpse.
Yeah, a guy screaming bloody murder because he's burning alive.
Right. I would say that she's a little bit unbalanced, Matt.
You think?
A little bit.
So then we go back to the old ladies camp, and the kids are getting up, and Ange walks up and says Herman said she was supposed to switch with Arab. So she leads Arab back to Herman's camp, and she goes, oh, they're in the tent. And she goes, oh yeah, what's going on in the tent? And then she kicks her into the tent, and Arab pokes her head out, and she goes, hey, what the hell? And then Anne cuts her head off, and that's where you hear, every time I go to camp, people are losing their heads.
That I thought was funny.
Yeah, right? That was good. I like that stuff. And as the group talks about their favorite movies and stuff, the rich girl and music and all that, the rich girl starts being super racist, and Riff is getting super pissed, and then the old lady does nothing but blame Riff for overreacting, even though the rich girl is being super racist.
Well, she says one racial slur referring to how she doesn't want to hear a group of black people singing because they can't sing anyway in rap is what she was getting at. And then she flat out drops the full hard R.
Oh, I mean, she goes full on all the way white supremacist racist against a black person.
Yeah, she drops the hard R N-bomb.
Yeah. I mean, hard.
Well, yeah. If the R was any more hard, it would be fucking made out of titanium.
Yeah.
The way she says it. And so when he gets after her and when he attacks her, he's basically justified in his anger because she's being racist. It's one thing to ask him to turn the music down and then call him an asshole for not doing it.
Yeah.
And it's another thing for saying you just don't like rap, even though he gets pissy about country music towards her.
When she asked him to turn down the music, he fucking did. He fucking did. Yeah. And then she went on about how rap was bad. So it's not like he ignored her and didn't turn down the music. She just wanted to say shit to him anyway. And he didn't even really violently do anything to her. He threw food in her face, which she got off lightly for being a complete and utter total fucking racist.
Right. He jumps up and he's acting like he's going to attack her, but he just smashes a bunch of like a pie or something in her face or whatever, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's still violent, that's still assault, but I mean, she's being a racist piece of shit. She kind of deserves it too.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is really fucked. I think the counselor was just trying to keep the one person that was in motion from being in motion because that way she didn't have to get up off of her lazy ass.
Yeah, no shit.
Because that's all she does for the rest of this fucking movie.
She only sits there and reads. She's not into anything else in this world.
No, except for telling people to do other stuff so that she doesn't fucking have to. And
exactly.
Right. And then she gets mad at him, but then again, he was provoked because the other chick was fucking racist as shit, revealing that she doesn't really care about the racism. She just didn't want the rich girl to get hurt.
Yeah. Very true.
Oh, that's
very
so
true.
fucked. This scene was really angering me.
I know. I was fucking just pissed about it. I was like, fuck, are you fucking kidding me with all this horse shit?
I don't like anybody in this fucking movie, and then you do this to me. It's like I'm rooting for Angela almost all the way through part 3. Whereas in part 2, I'm like, come on, Angela, just give these kids a chance. Jeez.
Yeah, come on. Some of them, they're fucking horrendous assholes, but come on, some of them are all right.
Yeah, this movie,
no. Some of the all right kids.
This one, no. They're all fucking bad kids, and I just can't wait for any of them to die, which kind of makes it more enjoyable for me.
Me too. Me too. I was like, I hope all the new ways all these people die is fucking horrendously painful and shit, because they all deserve it.
Turns out it's all bludgeoning with a giant stick, because that must be where their budget is.
Yep, pretty much. So anyway, we go back to the cops camp, and they're talking about Angela Baker and how there are no photos of her. And the cops like, there's no photos. All her juvenile records were destroyed, so they only can go off descriptions. And they ask, what would they do if he ever saw her? And he goes, he'd kill her. Then back at the old lady camp, it's trust exercises time. And they tie hands behind their backs and then blindfold one person. And then another one, the other person who they're supposed to be trusting, leads them places. The racist girl is with Ange, and she's being racist and being just a bitch and having a cigarette. She literally lights a cigarette, takes one puff, and doesn't even do a real puff, and then puts it down and stomps it out. That's like $5 of a cigarette right there. That's horrendous.
Not in the 80s. It was like $2.
Yeah, still, it's fucking wasteful.
Yeah, but also I don't think that actress actually smoked. I think she was just being a bitch to be a bitch.
Well, then she shouldn't be fucking smoking, because goddammit, I want that fucking cigarette.
Well, that's your fault, you junkie.
I'm sorry. I went blank there for a second. My apologies. Anyway, then it's Ange's turn, and she blindfolds the girl and ties her, and they're leading her around and all that. And then she attaches her to a flagpole and pulls her all the way up. And while the girl's like, I'll sue you, she lets her go, and the girl falls right on her head on cement, killing her. And that ends that 20 minutes.
That drop down when she finally hits, I was really shocked at how well that was filmed. I'm like, God damn, how did they fucking do that? Because they pulled it off, and the head hit with the splat was really well done. It was right? It was the most bloody, violent thing we got in this film. And I'm like, if this is where you had to spend all of your money, you chose wisely, because you pulled this off well.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it makes up for the 2 or 3 bludgeoning stick deaths, but they got so many kids she's got to get through in this fucking camp, even though it's a lower budget of the two. Yeah. Like, they got to do something about it, right? So, they're going to have a lot of bludgeonings, but then they still give you something like this where somebody drops from the top of a flagpole head first.
Yes, exactly. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's fun for the whole family. Let's be honest.
Not maybe little kids, but, what do I fucking care if you're traumatizing them with movies? I watched shit at 12 that I should have never seen.
What do you mean it's campy and it's perfect for little kids? I mean, Jesus Christ.
All right. I remove my argument, sir. Let's continue.
All right. Starting off the next 20 minutes, Ange comes back to the camp, and the old lady wants her to run for all these errands. It just keeps adding on more shit for Ange to grab at the main camp, or at like the main campsite. Ange, then as she's getting stuff, grabs bug spray because the lady wanted bug spray, but then sees some keys and grabs those as well. She's walking back she's walking back into the main lodge, and then she has flashbacks of when she was made Counselor of the Week and singing those songs.
Which is basically the dream sequence from the other movie, just reused.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just a weird thing, but hey, Ange and everyone else gets to have a nice little time there.
I think she was triggered from reeling from the last time she was here, and she ruined her own camping experience with her homicidal tendencies, and I think it just kind of set her off a little bit.
I think so as well. She comes back, and the old lady ties her to Bob and says she has to go fishing to go catch food. And Ange's like, what about that steak? And the old lady's like, oh, I'm allergic to fish, so I ate the steak. So they get tied together, and they go, and they, Bob, then while they're fishing, they're tied together. Bob comes on to Ange. It says that he actually likes being tied up, so there's something there for dumb Bobby, because Bobby's been shown as being a dumb guy throughout all this. He likes to be tied up, and she says later on, and he's like, and girls like you seem to always want to do this, and she's like, all right, fine, well, later, we'll do it later. So they catch fish, and they want Riff to clean them, but he says no. So this is also pissing Ange off. She's gonna have to do everything. Then we cut back to Tony and Marcia. They're doing a trust game, and that actually leads to our next clip.
All right, it's gonna be your turn now.
I'll tell.
Don't do it.
Jeez, I'm scared.
God.
Hey, so what's it like where you live, huh?
Where I live, it's kind of...
Oh, no, don't tell me. You go to a little red brick school, and you're in the choir.
It's orange brick, and I'm in the band.
Same difference. You got really nice parents, and your town has a park where every 4th of July, there's fireworks. Plus at Christmas, there's a big parade when Santa Claus arrives.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes. You don't have to make fun of me,
Oh. And what have you been doing to me this whole weekend?
Tony, are you in a gang?
Yeah.
Really?
Where I come from, everybody is.
Well, what is that like?
Oh, baggy pants, man. The lowriders, the bandanas. I like gang shit. I wish I could get out.
Why don't you?
Because the only way to do that is to move.
Well, you could move.
Yeah, I could. Maybe I'll come live with you in Idaho.
It's Ohio.
Same difference. Are you scared of me?
No. Well, I was kind of.
You're very pretty.
Thanks.
Can I kiss you?
All right. So now, we see Marcia and Tony are starting to have a budding relationship here. So then we cut back to Ange, and she asks the old lady to do a trust game with her. So, and she's like, and if you do, you can come back and see she keeps telling her, or the old lady, that the rich racist girl, it wasn't feeling well. She's back at the main camp. And you go see her. She goes, okay. So she brings her to, she talks about how, it smells like trash, and she goes, oh yeah, we bury the trash because it costs too much money to have people pick it up. So she takes her to one of those trash pits and throws her in there and then buries her in there. The whole time letting her know her husband cheats around on her and all this shit. And then, with only her head sticking up, Ange takes a lawnmower and runs over her head, decapitating her.
Okay, so this couple was running a scam, right? They were collecting all of this money and just basically trying to have these kids stay out here for as cheap as possible so they could then take the money on the trip that she was planning. That's basically what was happening, right?
They're planning an overseas trip, yeah.
Yeah, so they're fucking cheating all of these people to pay for their vacation is how they're doing it.
Yeah.
And the cop doesn't even want to know anything about it because he's too busy hoping that he can catch Angela if she tries to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the gist of the storyline. And Angela's killing everybody now because this whole thing is one giant scam and her fucking camping experience has been ruined. Yet she may still try to salvage it because every group she's been in so far has sucked. Maybe this third group will finally be it.
Exactly. Well, that leads us now into the final 20 minutes. Bobby lets Ange tie him up because, that's what he's into. And she ties him up against a tree, but then ties his arms to the back of a fucking Jeep and takes off, ripping his arms off. Goodbye, Dick.
Doesn't she say one last asshole in politics or something like that? And I kind of chuckled when she did that.
Yeah, one last asshole of politics because he was like going to go into politics and shit. And because he was all worried about his image. Then Ange throws a tape into Riff's tent and he plays it. And it's Ange rapping about how he's gonna die. And then Ange hammers his hand to the ground and then beats him a little bit more into the head and then hammers a nail into his head.
Tent stakes.
Killing him. Tent spikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Ange goes to the third camp and says she was supposed to switch with Marcia. So the cop decides to walk with them both, and while Ange is walking, I thought she pretended, but she actually does twist her ankle. So they have to take her back to the cabin, and they're wrapping it, and that is our final clip.
Well, it doesn't look that bad, but you're going to need to stay off of it as much as possible.
Is this gonna make it feel better? Yeah. Thanks. I mean it.
As soon as I get this thing bandaged, I'm going to have to go get Herman.
How well do you know him?
Not very well.
Good, because he's a terrible counselor, and so is Lily.
Nah, they're not that bad.
They eat steak while we eat fish. He fornicates with the campers. He does? And she's so lazy, she doesn't do anything but sit around all day.
How do you know all this?
I have eyes.
Did Herman really tell you to come switch with Marcia? Or did you just make all that up?
I made it up. I want to be with you guys.
Yes. Sorry, Maria. You've got to stick to the rules. And you're going to have to go back to Herman.
Oh, Barney, she could come with us.
It's just for one more day. Sorry. We'll help you walk back to the camp. I'm sorry, so you do it.
Does Lily really just sit around all day? Yeah. In fact, she's out there right now. Go see for yourself. Really? Can I, Barn?
Sure. Just don't laugh in her face, okay?
I won't. I'm warning you, it's not a pretty sight.
All right, so after all, I mean, everyone's kind of being nice to her. It's almost like she's like, okay, well, maybe these people will be cool. Well, then, but she must have thought something like she had to kill the cop because she sent Marcia out to find the old lady, sees the bodies decapitated, and the cop tells her to run away. And as he's telling her to run away, we see Ange sneaks a gun out of a bag. So the cop and her have a tense standoff where they talk, and he asks how she's going to kill him. How? You heard it in the trailer. She goes gun, and she shoots him twice, killing him. Then she comes back to the camp, and so remember, Marcia's ran off. She ran off, but then she goes and she chases down Marcia and restrains her. Then she comes back to the camp and tells the last three that they have to do another trust game because the cop said so. She ties the three together and then drops the cop dead body in front of them. She tells them that they only have, I think, a minute to find Marcia in one of the three cabins. So they go cabin to cabin finding all the dead bodies. And finally, they find Marcia in the last cabin. And just then, Tony's in the middle of this the three people tied up. The other two get killed by a booby trap, axes to the chest. So then Ange comes in and she says that she's going to let them both live, that they seem like good kids and that they make a cute couple. And she even says she kind of had a crush on Tony. Then Ange leaves, but Marcia is able to get loose and attacks her and stabs her a metric fuck ton, like over and over again. So later on, now the cops are all there, and Marcia and Tony are in the backseat. Tony says, I want to get married to you. I love you, and we can get away and all that. And she's like, actually, I have a boyfriend. Come visit me, though. So it's like, Marcia was a shit person, too.
Yeah, pretty much. She was just using camp as an excuse to sleep with, the first cute thing she could get her hands on. Although when they were going to go after it, she does tell him he needs to put on a condom, which is pretty awesome. They're talking safe sex, and that's
safe sex. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and also I think she was so into in one of the clips I had, she was so into talking about him being in a gang and stuff. I think it was all about something she could go tell her friends about. I hooked up with a bad boy, something like that.
Clip.
Ah, fuck. Anyway, not the worst one I've ever had, but it's there. So anyway, later on, they're in the ambulance and a cop tells an EMT, hey, we should kill her. She's a psycho. We should kill her. We could do it. So he decides, the EMT's like, yeah, we can do that. But before they can, Ange grabs a needle. She stabs them both, killing them. The driver says what's going on back there. And she says, taking care of business. Roll credits.
This is a pretty straightforward flick. I mean, we breezed through it like it was nothing, and with really good reason, because there's really not a lot to the story. It's Ange takes the place of a camper by killing her. Then they go to this ripoff of a camp that's just 12 kids max?
Yeah.
And they pay $3,000 each for a week?
Yep,
right?
Pretty much.
Because it's 3 days out. They're all camping out with tents and stuff for 3 days. And then they all meet back at the camp for the last 2 or 3 days or something like that. So it's maybe 7 days max before they're gone, Yeah. For $3,000, that's a real ripoff, especially since what they have to do is they had to bring all their own gear. They had to catch their own fish. All of this is literally you're paying $3,000 to sit on their land for a week.
Right.
They supplied nothing else. So it's a total scam and it's a ripoff. And how Angela knew about it, whatever she found out about it, doesn't fucking matter. But she did. She integrated herself into this group and then literally just slaughters everybody. All the kids are fucking awful. You can't wait for them to fucking die. They all do shit that's fucking terrible, except for maybe Marcia. But it turns out, no, she was fucking awful as well. Maybe Ange just had the right, right plot and everything.
Anne's just, for one time, she couldn't tell, and she was pretty lost on that one.
I kind of feel like the cop confronting Angela should have been more an integral part of the story. Maybe he was trying to save the other kids as best as possible. There should have been more of a showdown between the two of them, but...
I think so, but I think they just ran out of time or just didn't care.
Well, there's that, or possibly that's not Angela's style. She likes to manipulate and kind of just force people into a situation where she has the upper hand and then murder them. That's her style of killing, which is totally cool. I mean, a lot of killers use that. I mean, that's Chucky's whole MO. It's not until it's last ditch effort that he goes full on nuts and just starts attacking everybody at random.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's totally cool. It works the way that it works. And the film's fun.
It's a third in a trilogy. It is what it is, and it is fun.
Yeah. There's moments that are really cringy, and there's some really bad racism in it that really is kind of hard to watch. It's the product of the time where, that was just a short way of showing that this racist chick is a racist chick. I mean, she could have been bitchy in some other way without having to be the racist chick, I guess, but you needed to have something like that in there in the 80s. You needed to have offensive language because everybody thought it was funny.
Yeah, I guess.
Whatever.
That's gross.
Yeah. It's a definite little drop off from the last film. You can tell that they made these two pretty much back to back and that one took up all the budget for the other one. It feels like they shot this one between takes in the other film, just in the same area, just off to the side, maybe even they were in production at the same time.
Just put a wig on the actress and go to business.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case or not, or if maybe it was shot later or whatever. I didn't do the research on that. I just that's just what it feels like when you're watching it, and that's what I always suspected when I was a kid watching it, that they were filmed together. They just kind of had tets sent up somewhere in the woods, and they would just basically shoot what they could where they needed to in these various areas.
Yeah, that could be very well it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good way to close it out. Now, I talked about this before, and we'll just do it here. We'll just kind of bring it up. There are, I think, 5 total movies in the series for the franchise, but there's really only 3 that are recognized as the full franchise. There's a part 4 that is not really a sequel, and I don't know if it ever got distribution. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's called For the Survivor, and it's basically a half-hour long thing that somebody shot on video, maybe, or something along those lines. I don't know a lot about it, but then they used a ton of footage from from the original Sleepaway Camp movies to finish it out and make it happen. And I don't know if that's even really been released as an official sequel or not, so I didn't want to cover that. Now, there was another one where I think the original writer-director came back and did a return to Sleepaway Camp, and I did intend to cover that fourth installment that may be able to be considered that. They even bring Felissa Rose, who played Angela in the first one, back in that film.
Yeah.
But the DVDs are way fucking out of print, and like the cheapest one I could find was like $100 and some odd bucks. I couldn't
that.
I couldn't even find it anywhere else. Like I couldn't even fucking steal it anywhere if I wanted to.
It was even on YouTube anywhere?
No. I mean, I just didn't want to bother with it because we already are going to have a super fucking long episode because I knew we were going to talk forever about the original Sleepaway Camp, which is still the winner and champion of all three of these films.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I had significantly more fun, I just want to say, watching the third film this time around than I've ever had watching it before.
Yeah, I had a good time. I had a great time watching the second film. I thought the second film was just fun. Just plain old fun.
I usually go directly to the second movie when I want to watch Sleepaway Camp series just to have fun. I go right to the second one. It's got everything I want in a slasher flick. The third one's a little bit of a drop, but the first one is still king. It's still the absolutely best made movie. It's just not necessarily as enjoyable because it's a real fucking downer.
Yeah.
But it's a really, really well-made film. So that's the entirety of the Sleepaway Camp series, but we've got fucking feedback and shit to deal with. So let's
hit the mail.
Yeah, we gotta move on here. So we're gonna play a Corrupted Youth promo. We're gonna have a little bit of music that is taken right out of Sleepaway Camp 3. And when we come back, we will have some feedback.
Taste colors beyond any known spectrum as phonic euphoria cascades into your consciousness. Observe the laws of physics no longer applying to an existence that confines. Space and time will unravel and reform to a screaming new dawn, bursting with infinite possibility. It's as easy as listening to the Corrupted Youth Podcast, where the father-son duo of Dan and Brennan explore the latest blockbusters, classic genre films, and the schlockiest of Golden Age VHS rental store flicks in spoiler-heavy fashion. Corrupted Youth Podcast is available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and more. Take a break from reality, unlock your infinite cosmic potential, and become a dongle.
I almost caught myself getting into that. I probably couldn't have gotten into that as much as what I was. We don't have time for it, Matt, because it's
time for incoming mail!
I'm going to go through the email first. This is actually feedback from our episode 274 on Suddenly in the Dark. This is from our reclusive fan, is how they signed it. Wick. All right. Hello, Cort and Matt. It's your unofficial breast surgery expert / Pat Morita historian. I remember this gentleman reaching out to us before. The story with the Pat Morita's ukulele and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, once again. As usual, I enjoyed your latest episode, 274 Suddenly in the Dark, but I felt compelled to write to you regarding one of your viewpoints that Cort took during the tail end of the conversation. Oh, I know where this is going. I think I'm about to get scolded.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It was about the nature of artistic statements, that occasionally get included in less than artistic cinema, and how some artists adopt the theories that viewers present. I did say that. Yeah, I was being a bit snarky there, I freely admit. Okay, I can't speak for Suddenly in the Dark yet, although I eagerly anticipate its arrival this week based on both of you recommending it so strongly. That's awesome. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, Wick. But during the comments on the film, Cort referenced a theory that some filmmakers simply throw a series of surreal ideas, images, or concepts into the projects without a clear or realized purpose. Some of these filmmakers will then adopt a viewer's interpretation of those artistic or abstract ideas. I did pretty much say that, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no denying
you did.
I do believe that there are artists who end up chucking in a series of ideas, images, or would-be symbolism at their projects with the hope of someone out there will interpret the elements to make sense of them, even in a way that the filmmaker hadn't intended. But I don't believe any of the truly successful artists out there end up stooping to the level of creating a definitive answer based on an audience interpretation. Fair enough. In my experience, the majority of filmmakers who get the extraordinary opportunity to create a movie and who inject surreal elements and subject matter into their work know exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. If they have the balls to work in a bunch of stuff that they admittedly don't understand, they usually take the "I leave the interpretation of this up to the individual and shall not explain myself" route. Also true. When you're a competent filmmaker, this works. He references David Lynch and Alejandro Jodorowsky. Can't disagree with that. When they aren't, it's usually entertaining as hell, but also a sign of pretentiousness, as in Neil Breen and Tommy Wiseau. Regardless of the filmmaker's skill level, it's rare to encounter an auteur who will gleefully adopt an outsider's interpretation. What's most interesting to me are the artists who don't even realize how strong or deep their themes or ideas might be. Okay, so I'm not getting derided here as bad as I thought I was going to.
All right, well, that's good.
But are so strongly infused with these issues of the era that they transcend the subject matter and become parables or greater philosophies. And for examples in that, he puts Night of the Living Dead, Raising Arizona, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, he's even citing stuff. This is like a thesis, right?
Yeah, Jesus, right? Holy cow.
Yeah. You might be relieved to know that I just deleted about 1,700 words from this email, citing examples of successful... Jesus Christ, is this guy reading my mind when he's writing this? Examples of successful and unsuccessful filmmakers who have worked with surreal pieces and have either copped to or denied their meaning. What I believe is most important in every one of these cases is the artist's ability to maintain ambiguity. That was in all caps. So I guess I'm supposed to shout that, but
I don't know. Shout it.
Ambiguity.
Yeah.
The films that stick with us are the ones that have unanswered questions. The more mysteries that get solved on screen, the less memorable and thought-provoking a film will be. Naturally, an artist can go too far. David Lynch has gone off the deep end and alienated audiences as many times as he's captivated them. And the opposite is true even more often. Suggestively deep, quote-unquote, filmmakers like Neil Breen come to mind. He's a guy who thinks his surreal ambiguity will stick in your head, but in reality, you're losing sleep trying to figure out how on earth a guy has grown the sack to imply he's a deity with a computer board taped to his chest. Yeah, Neil Breen's a fucking trip. He's not fucking wrong. I think we can all agree that a film is more successful when it gives multiple viewers multiple answers or solutions, and that a movie maker who willingly adopts an interpretation of his surreal notions from an audience is deplorable. Suddenly In the Dark seems to fall into this first category, and it's my opinion that we need more of these and less stories about adult men in tight pajamas throwing each other into CGI buildings. What I wouldn't give... Whoa. First of all, what I wouldn't give to see another one of those fucking movies in an actual theater again someday. Jesus, I'm just waiting.
Yeah. I'm just, but whoa. I feel personally attacked.
I mean, I like all of that. Everything that he just described.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like including the tight pajamas on dudes. I'm into that.
I like the pajama guys throwing guys into buildings. I like that shit.
Yeah, I like to see the body that I'll never have be displayed to get my wife hot so I can reap the reward later.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. We can't get into this. The letter's not done yet.
All right.
I hope this was entertaining despite the fact that I didn't get to talk about boobs this time. I love that. Please keep up the good work and please cover more thought-provoking underground stuff. Well, that's just if it comes to us, because lately it's been my just crazy buying habits that has been programming this show.
Yeah, right.
Cinema trash is always going to be more exciting than A-list blockbusters and Hollywood tripe. Your reclusive fan, Wick, as they had signed it. Okay, well, a lot to think about in all of that. I will just say that when I made that, not necessarily sarcastic, but very snide, very snarky remark, I will admit that's exactly what it was. That's when you get to see the mean bastard Cort coming out, because that was me being jealous of people who actually got to make whatever film and not liking their film and then taking a pot shot at it, more or less is how I went.
Yeah.
Because there's tons of filmmakers that I resent the fact that they got to make a film that I hated with some of these surreal things like that. There's specific ones that I have in mind that I absolutely don't like, but this is not the platform for me to bitch about filmmakers unless I'm covering their film and I'm pissed at that film that I'm covering. You get what I'm saying?
This is true.
Yeah. So basically, that was Cort being an asshole, and Cort fully admits it. And when I was editing, I'm like, ooh, I should probably take that out. But I left it in because I'm not perfect, and I need to put out the parts of my personality that aren't that great, too.
Yeah. I mean, none of us are perfect. Nobody is like, well, Cort, are you perfect? No one thinks that. you get to be snarky every now and then. Every human being does.
Yeah, but I fucking hate it, and I knew when I put it out there that was probably going to provoke a response of some sort. And I think that Wick, everything that they had to say in this letter was spot on. That's everything that basically essentially put me in my place and made me realize I was being a snarky dick while I was reading it. So thanks for that, Wick.
Good job, Wick.
All right, so our buddy Cameron from the Jacked Up Review Show actually wanted to participate in the Sleepaway Camp film, so he actually has a discussion about them here in our first audio feedback.
All right.
So, thank you, Cort and Matt, for letting me step in, add my 2 cents. So, once again, there's 5 of these movies. Only 3 of them are considered official by both the fans and the distributor. Long story short, the creator just came up with this movie. He only had like $350,000 for the budget. He ended up having to scrap his storyboards when they just ran behind on schedule, and summer was slowly flowing away from him to where even the scenery around him was about to be inconsistent with the previous shots. And of course, it was meant to capitalize on the success of slasher stuff like, Friday the 13th, and was often seen on Paramount and MGM type channels. And because it's basically always ends with a surprise plot twist in all 3 installments, that's pretty much why these movies are remembered. The kills are just outrageous and yet memorable and creative. This Pamela Springsteen's character is just twisted. She could easily rival any other psycho, and that's just not a understatement. It's just she's that unusual in her depiction. And it's hard to believe that the photographer and sister of singer Bruce Springsteen, starred in these movies. But I'm more just captivated by how this lived up to the cult hype. You can find all of these on Amazon Prime or Shout Factory Blu-rays, no problem. And it is a testament, I guess, to just the subtlety and the unusual nature of it all together, because, this has survived, bad reviews, utter obscurity, being cut down for both VHS and DVD due to the violent content. And yet somehow there was always someone who caught it on one of the movie channels or who remembered it from the drive-in days. And that's just how memorable it is. It's just very unusual, but, just consistent with its vision, what little there is of it. And there are often slow burns, but they'll definitely be good party movies. I can't recommend them more. Cort and Matt have already done a good job so far just summing this up, so like they usually do on anything dealing with, psychotic people. But more or less, it's just very, the surprises deliver, and you don't know what you're getting into, even when you think you already know. The movie just keeps taking a total 180. And, this is years before every movie was trying to be like Scream or, other update copycats of Halloween and all that. So I think it's just because it just dares to go where it goes. That's why you can just applaud it. It's not just, it also goes into many categories. You can put it in so bad it's good. You can put it in good. You can put it in trashy fun. It works whatever you label it as. And I'd have to say the ending of Part 3 was definitely my favorite out of all the endings, followed shortly by Part 1. Part 2 had some decent... I really thought it had the best music and probably some of the better makeup and scenery out of all the 3 movies, but the other supporting actors are decent, and the whole thing is never a waste of time. And once again, you can find these on Amazon Prime if you're not sure you want to check it out, but if you see the first 20 minutes and you're sold, then you might upgrade and get the home media set and see if you can introduce it to some of your other pals. They'll definitely dig it if you're into wacky stuff like this. Thank you all for letting me share my portion of this review.
Well, he promised our audience that we were going to deliver something, like a thought-provoking discussion. Like, how does he know? Like, maybe we really fucking fucked this up.
We might have fucked this up. Like, he really is. But I think we fucked it up. So I
legit
think
after that email that we got right before I played this clip, dude, I'm thinking I'm fucking everything up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone. You guys really have high standards for us. That I don't know where you got this kind of information from, but
Jesus,
they've been listening to the show, right? I mean, they're not listening to a different show and thinking it's our show, right?
This is 275 episodes that we have done, and they still suck.
They know what show, right? I'm really getting mad right now. They know what show, right? They know what show.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We got one more piece of feedback. This is from our boy Ken in Rhode Island.
Hey, Ken.
It's CinePsyEP275 number 275, and I don't want to go to a mental hospital. Hey, Cort and Matt, it's Ken out in Rhode Island. Just want to say congratulations and thank you for 275 laughter-filled episodes. I also want to thank everyone in the CinePsyEP275 Facebook group. You guys are one of the reasons why I stick around on Fuckerberg's platform. Fuck that guy. Yeah. Can't wait to hear your thoughts and reactions and whatnot to Sleepaway Camp. I assume Matt's seen it. If he hasn't, I can't wait to hear that reveal. Kaiser Soze has a penis. There's nothing much left to say, guys, except keep on space trucking. I'll talk to you later.
I can't play the space trucking one because of copyright issues now, and we'll get dinged on YouTubes and stuff. But here, just for you, Ken.
It's Sunday's my birthday, and I don't want to go to a mental hospital.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to have some callbacks to
Soze has a dick. That's great.
I hate that!
Just playing some things from previous episodes,
Who in the fuck took my paper clips? I'm determined to have your brain.
Kaiser Soze has a dick. That was classic. Good job. Solid.
I don't really want to end on that note, Matt, so...
Who is that guy?
I don't know, but whoever he was, he's weird and pissed off.
And with that, we're going to play the ending Legion promo. Going to have a little bit of more music that is straight out of Sleepaway Camp 2. And when we come back, we'll close out this fucking show.
If you enjoyed this show, then make sure you check out the other great shows on the Legion Podcast Network, like CinePsyEP275, Cinema Beef, Devour the Podcast, Duncan and Bo Come Correct, Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, Friday the 13th, Get Slayed, The Hellming Power Hour, Hello, This is the Doom Show, Hero Hero Go Show, Kill the Cast, Underwater Kaiju from Outer Space, Jerry Hates Action, Legion After Dark, Mental Health, Obsessive Cinema, Discourse, Pick 6 Movies, the podcast by The Cemetery, the podcast on Haunted Hill, the Psychosemantic Podcast, Rick Radio, House of Wax, Dude Looks Like the 80s, Rabbit and Red Radio, the Shadecast, Short Bus Cinema, 2 Drink Minimum Commentaries, the VD Clinic, Who Will Survive Horror Podcast, and Witch vs. the Doomsday Clock. With such a wide spread of shows, there is guaranteed to be a niche for you to fall in love with. Horror, politics, movies, books, sex, music, commentaries, health, video games, kaiju, action, news, comedy, and opinions that would most likely get you killed in some parts of the world. We are proud to bring you some of the best podcasting in the world. Check us out at www.legionpodcast.com, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and any other dark corner of the internet where podcasts can be found.
Born in the first, life's been a breeze.
That's what my psychologist wrote down as a child whenever I got busted, and I had to be put into an asylum that I was out of control, and therefore I was let back out of the asylum because I was back under control, and now I'm a good boy.
I thought you didn't want to go to a mental hospital.
Well, Sunday's not my birthday, so I think we're good now.
Oh, that's all right.
You just wanted it to play again, didn't you?
I kind of did.
It's Sunday's my birthday, and I don't want to go to a mental hospital.
After 275 episodes, Matt can have a Sunday as my birthday, and I don't want to go to a mental hospital as a little treat.
Yay!
If you'd like to find other instances of when I played some of these weird-ass fucking clips I just played tonight because I'm loopy as shit, you can find that at legionpodcast.com/cinema-psyops. That is where all previous 274 episodes are now currently located.
Yeah.
You can also interact with us on the, was it Fuckerberg is what he called him?
Fuckerberg, yeah.
That's my favorite part of that email, or that voicemail.
Fucking
calling
robot android-looking motherfucker.
Careful, because we have a Facebook group that we need to keep, CineMapsyEP275, and somehow Fuckerberg will know we're talking about him.
He does. I think he like lights up or something. He's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. I'm also available.
Does not compute.
I'm also available on the Face of Fuckerberg. I am Cort Psyops. Matt is also available on the Face of Fuckerberg as Matt Psyop. You can email feedback to Matt, psyopmatt@gmail.com. Let him know that talking shit about Fuckerberg is a way to get shadow banned.
I know, man. He's going to be like, goodbye. And this did not compute for me.
Wow, you're not funny the second time you do it. It just doesn't work.
Shut up. Just fucking keep reading shit, dick.
You can email feedback to Cort, cinemapsyopscort@gmail.com. Let him know that he can just keep reading shit, dick.
Yeah, just keep reading shit, dick.
You can also tweet a couple of tweets to a couple of twats on the hate-filled shitfest. That is Twitter. I'm at Cort_Psyop, and he is at PsyopMatt. I am so fucking tired, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're fucking... We're on fumes, ladies and gents. Just give us a minute, will ya?
But even though I'm on fumes, I'm still chilling out on the Instagram, looking at all of your pictures, trying to drive me to your OnlyFans. That's cinema_psyops is where I'm available there because Matt has no access to that feed. Although I do send him an occasional screenshot that he likes.
Yes.
That's never happened. You're just lying to get the show over with.
I was just trying to agree with you. I thought that was my whole role in this fucking show.
Now you learn it after 275 episodes. Well, while you're out there having fun, kids, trying to argue that repetition doesn't work, just remember, repeat after me. Kick the fuck out of this weekend, make it your bitch.
Into your eyes, it comes as no surprise. You're slipping away, and yeah, you're the love of my life. It's so cold at night, I'm begging you to stay. I know it's all a masquerade.
Hello.
Hey, you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, I just updated Skype, so I was taking a crack at...
Yeah, I had to update everything, too.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, fuck, not tonight. And then I was like, whatever, you know.
It went quick. The update at least went quick.
Yeah, mine made me do it twice for some fucking reason.
Because it's fucking stank.
Yeah. One of these days we'll have to switch over to Zoom and figure it out from there.
We could go Microsoft Teams.
I could use my work account for Teams and, like, just fucking violate a bunch of fucking laws to do it.
Same here. I could do that as well.
Not that I ever put any proprietary things on Team or anything, but still.
Yeah.
Teams, yeah. All right. We're going to have a shitload of outtakes on this if we don't stop fucking around. So we got a shitload of feedback. Well, we got, for us, a shitload. We have 3 pieces of feedback, 1 email about last week's episode, and 2 audio things for feedback.
All right.
About 275 and then also Sleepaway Camp is respectively. That's what those are about. All right. Start rolling on your side.
And I am rolling. 1, 2, 3.
All right, I think we are good to go. You're rolling on your side.
Yep.
Hopefully this won't take too goddamn long, but Sleepaway Camp 1 is going to take us forever. All right, let's start the fucking show here. Episode 275.
Cool.
We've been at this too long.
Right?
Here we go.
Dear Mom and Dad.
Oops. I done fucked up already, Matt. All right, give me a second here. This is riveting radio. At least Cort sings to you like a weirdo. And my voice is much more appealing than Matt's.
What the fuck?
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
So then, fuck. Hold on. I lost my light here.
More riveting radio for Cort to show off his amazing voice to keep you entertained while Matt finds his place.
I got my light back.
Oh,
All right.
Okay, cool.
God's honest truth. Almost everyone but Mel and Meg.
Yeah, they're the fucking worst, and then obviously the kids are all terrible.
Yeah, just because, fuck children and all that.
Whoa, dude.
Whoa, hey.
Clip.
Hey, clip. No, can't clip that.
Oh, come on. I want to ruin your life.
No, can't clip that. That's not clippable. I gotta put my foot down in some places.
Wow, look at you standing up for yourself. I'm almost impressed.
That's right. I just got mad enough at Meg just to make me want to stand up for myself.
God damn it, Meg. You ruined it for all of us.
Fucking Meg!
Fuck off, Meg.
So, that night, holy shit. Okay, sorry. And, you know what? Fuck you, Judy.
No, it's Meg.
Go
fuck off.
yourself.
Yeah, fuck off Meg and fuck off Judy, for sure.
Yeah, fuck them both off. Just get them out of the fuck out of here.
Are we not
No one
doing
has to
phrasing?
like them.
That sounded like something we need to talk about phrasing-wise.
Yeah. Oh, phrasing. Sorry, everyone. That's phrasing. Fine. So anyway, fucking me again.
That's
okay.
totally my fault.
So yeah, you're fine. So anyway, fuck again. Jesus Christ, help me out here tonight. Jesus Christ, yeah, one went forever.
Yeah. All right.
But fuck it, man. 2 and 3 should go rather quickly.
One would hope. I just have to try and remember the conversation we were supposed to have that was supposed to trigger for one, but we'll see if I can figure it out.
You ruined the ending.
Yeah, I know that part of it, but I can't remember all of the deep analysis and jokes I wanted to do that I came up with that night that I didn't record.
Gotta write that shit down, man.
Oh,
Can't waste all that genius in your memory.
Well, up until recent events, my memory used to be really fucking good.
Yeah, I thought the effects in that room with the bodies and stuff, yeah, I'm with you. That was really cool. Really cool, like almost like haunted house vibe, Really, really cool.
Yeah, but like a good one, not like a low-budget one in somebody's house on a military base.
Yeah.
That's oddly specific and what a callback, yeah.
That's almost a 20-year callback there, Cort.
I'm feeling nostalgic, buddy. These movies do it to me.
Yeah, 19 years ago or some shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, man, my wife and I were just talking about that a few days ago, too.
Hey, you want to pause for a minute? We'll both go grab a drink, and then I'll come in, and when we're back, we'll do the promo.
Do you want me to do another recording?
No, let's just do it all one solid. It'll be easier for me. It's fine.
All right, should I stop recording now and then start recording again then?
No. Leave it all as one.
Leave this recording when we go. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'm going to go grab something to drink.
Cool.
Bye.
All right, I'll be back.
All right. I'm back.
Back yet?
Yep, I'm here.
Sorry about that delay. My wife was demanding affection from me, and I can't say no.
Oh, well, yeah, same here. I just got back, so I was also giving affection to my wife.
Weird how that works. All right,
right.
Let's roll into the next one here, starting with the promo.
I'll have to talk about that later. Maybe when you said Loomis, his whole diatribe about Michael Myers, and somebody posted a meme where he's doing the whole diatribe, and then the very next section of the picture, he goes, "Sir, this is a Wendy's."
Awesome.
I loved it. And that actually leads to our next clip.
Is that clip 2?
Yes.
All right, I'll be right back.
All
right, I'm back.
Cool.
Very pretty.
Sorry, dude. Right as you were talking, I got an alarm from my front porch thing. And there's a fucking cat out there, and it looks just like one of mine.
Oh fuck!
So, and I was texting my wife. I'm like, are both of them upstairs? Are they with you right now? Did somehow one of them get out of the house? I was like freaking out, and I ran upstairs and I saw one of them, and then I ran back to the bedroom and I saw the other, and I had to explain to Bev really quick what it was that I saw. But there's a neighborhood cat that comes and just chills on one of our rugs on our porch because I guess they just like the way it feels, and they just lay there every now and then they go back to wherever the fuck they came from.
Yeah, weird. Fucking cool. But at least it's not your fucking cat.
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, that would freak me out.
Yeah, and I was like, just leave him out there. Don't bother him. Don't bring him in. If it weren't the middle of a pandemic, sure, but don't bring him in.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Go ahead and take a chance. Take it all away. But if you're caught, you're gonna pay. Mommy and Daddy put their faith in you. Don't embarrass them. Do what you don't do. And sleep away. Sleep away. Sleep away. Sleep away. Sleep away. Sleep away. Sleep away.
Repeat after me. Kick the fuck out of this weekend. Make it your bitch. That was so dumb.
That was... Fuck it. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm
We're all right.
so fucking tired. I don't even fucking care.
Same here. I have stopped recording on my side, and I will get that to you.
All right, yeah, right before you hit the sack tonight. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, not a problem. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, that's 275 down. That's not something to fucking shake a stick at, dude.
No, that is not. That's fucking amazing. 275. Holy shit.
Yeah.
How are we still alive?
And it's consecutive weeks, too, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Consecutive weeks.
I'm fucking proud of us.
Through a pandemic, two presidencies. Holy fuck. Look at us.
We remain. All right, man. We're going to do this again next week, so you get some sleep.
Yeah, same to you. Talk to you later. I hooked up with a bad boy.